Hey everyone, and welcome to Comics from the Multiverse, the DC Comics podcast from MailFuzz TV. I am Peter, and joining me, as always, is Matt.
Wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
Connor's here too.
Yeah.
I only put so much info into Matt's intro because I wanted the contrast.
There was a lot of even pre-Matt's intro there. Just everything was turned up a little much.
It was a harsh cut. I wanted the ironic harsh cut to just... Oh, Connor's here.
I'm not sure it's ironic anymore.
It's all about setup.
Yeah.
But yeah, we talk about DC Comics on this show. Coming up on this week's show, we do have the October Solicits and a little bit of November Solicits actually to go through. More on that in a little bit. But coming up on the show, books-wise, what we're going to be talking about is Action Comics 1013, Wonder Woman 75, The Flash 75, Batgirl 37, Justice League Dark 13, The Terrifics 18, Dial H for Hero number 5, and Batman Curse of the White Knight issue 1. Because Black Label books go at the end. I don't know when I decided that, but they always go at the end.
Fair enough.
Because the Black Label. It's just the explicit section at the end. It's the After Dark portion of the show.
Is it always the imprints to kind of go towards it? So when we get the
horror books,
the horror books,
yeah, I would put them at the end. Yeah. Mainline DC first, and then I mean, I'm sure we've had exceptions for that. Like I'm sure we've maybe given like a mini a number one at the start that's technically out of continuity, but whatever.
I think we used to, if it was a number one, like the mini would go at the start and then it got shafted to the end. Yeah.
But hey, it's our show. We'll change the rules as much as we want. That's fine.
Just on Peter's whims.
Yes, on the whims of a madman. So that's what's coming up on today's show. It makes quite a difference from the 4 new books from last week.
Yep, and a big difference from next week too.
But also not the 12 or 13 from week 2. This is a nice happy medium, this amount.
Yeah, this is manageable. I
had 7 books. That's just a nice number. Not too much, not too little.
Yeah.
3.6 on the Dyatlov scale.
Is that graphite?
Yeah.
Still haven't seen it, but I know the references.
Good. Because I'm not letting them die.
my new favorite references are from Stranger Things with the Russian drinking the Slurpee.
Oh yes, Alexei and his cherry Slurpee.
Yeah,
of course. Which, by the way, they announced David Harbour, and I think it was Black Widow, and his character is called Alexei.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I just think that's kind of gold. It's great.
They also announced that Black Widow is taking place post-Civil War, so we're getting a flashback story.
I think we all predicted that anyway, but we didn't know when it was set specifically. So, but now
we know
it was
going to be a flashback, but I didn't know how far it was in a flashback.
Yeah.
So
well, I think if they'd went like pre all the movies, I'd have been like, yeah, I don't really buy this because she looks so young in Iron Man 2. I'm not buying this is Black Widow in her early days. But no, it's between Civil and Infinity War. So
yeah, and I like the idea in Civil War. She's she is that gray. She doesn't really. She's operating in the shadows.
The weird thing is they confirmed that there's going to be stuff set in Budapest, and it's been a running joke since the first Avengers that Hawkeye and Black Widow had something in Budapest, some sort of mission. So although obviously it's not going to be that because that was set before this movie, but I'm just
but they're gonna you'll know she'll have a reference to say if David Harbour is not the heavy, and that's who she's working with. She'll be like Budapest is just not the same without Clint or whatever.
If David Harbour's not in a Hawaiian shirt, then quite frankly they're wasting him. They're wasting his talents. They're wasting abilities. I'm not having it.
It took me about 6 episodes of Stranger Things to realize he was doing a Magnum thing.
Yeah, because he's watching. I think he's watching Magnum PI in like episode 2 before his date.
Yeah,
he's watching Magnum PI, so he's getting inspiration.
But yeah, I just didn't. The Hawaiian shirts and mustache just didn't click because that's.
Hey, if you're going to aspire to be someone, Tom Selleck's a fine, prime, manly example to aspire to.
Sure.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Come on, he's Tom Selleck. Tom Selleck and Burt Reynolds, they were like these two brothers from different mothers who kind of commanded the mustache hierarchy of the 70s and 80s.
Fun fact, Tom Selleck was originally supposed to be Indiana Jones, but couldn't get out of his Magnum contract long enough to shoot. So they went with Harrison Ford.
I don't think that would have been a bad. I mean, obviously, I'm not complaining about Harrison Ford, but I can see Tom Selleck in that role.
Yeah. I don't think it'll become as iconic. You know what I mean? I feel like Harrison Ford brings enough of himself into Indy that he has that everyman still, and I feel like Selleck, especially in the 80s, was almost larger than life, down to the mustache. So, well,
And he almost had a mustache.
Almost.
Oh dear.
It would have been a reverse Superman from Justice League.
Maybe that's the reason he couldn't get out of the contract long enough. It's like, I'm going to have to shave the mustache for the role.
Yeah.
And they were like, nope, not having it. We'll grow back quick enough.
Well, because he had to shoot, they shot Magnum in Hawaii, but they didn't shoot all of Indiana Jones. So, they went to Tunisia and whatnot. He couldn't get those.
Hey,
but the rest is history.
Maybe this is like some unearthed trivia here. Maybe they did shoot all of the movie with Tom Selleck with the intentions of removing his mustache in post, but the technology just wasn't quite there yet.
It wasn't there yet.
In 1980.
Still not there now.
It's still not there in 2017 either.
Well, let's watch as I kick this hornet's nest. My wife sent me a text yesterday that she was listening to the Endgame soundtrack, and so then I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna give this song a listen to." It's the end title scene, or it's the score over the end titles.
Yeah, the main theme and all that. Yeah,
and it filled me with emotion, right? Like, and we're sitting here on a DC podcast. My room's behind me filled with DC iconography. Yeah, those are Marvel movies, and they strike me, right in the heartlight. Nothing Warner Brothers has done, down to the Nolan trilogy, has filled me with that same emotion, and it pisses me off.
It's upsetting. Being DC fans and go to those Marvel movies and seeing them, not without their faults, but seeing them essentially build a cinematic universe and having its high points and the big moments feeling like they're big moments, and it is kind of depressing. It's like, when people say, "Do you know misery? Do you know pain?" And I say, "I'm a DC fan. Of course I know misery. I know pain."
Yeah. And even the TV shows, like as good as Supergirl can be, in Flash, not as much recently.
No, Flash counts in.
Yeah, there was a lot less Joe West this season, which I would say the Joe West Barry stuff on the Flash would be borderline, because I love their relationship.
Just for context, the actor was injured, which that's why he missed half the season.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he had a bad back.
Oh shoot, I didn't know that.
That's why for the first half of the season he's always just sat down.
Yeah,
that makes sense in hindsight. I just thought they were going completely, tits up this season, so they're like, well, we'll get rid of the best thing on the show too, and it's Joe West. But it doesn't have those emotional.
Do you know where we will get those emotional beats?
Where?
Season 2 of Doom Patrol.
Oh yeah, Doom Patrol's been renewed, baby. I love it.
I guess I'm gonna have to watch this now.
To be fair though, Matt has at least seen some of the light, and he's been watching Legends, so he gets some get some passes here.
I'm getting through Riverdale, season 3, which is Taco Bell.
That was that show where I saw someone say something about season 3. I assumed it was a joke because it was so ridiculous, and now I googled it. It was, they actually did that.
Yeah, I won't spoil what it was, but I was here for this moment, and it was something along the lines of a character who technically came back to life or something to that extent, and it was mind blowing.
Yeah. Again, on Twitter, I compared it to Taco Bell. I know it's bad for me. I know it's not good, but I need more of it.
Although Matt did tell me this week that there's some sort of Dreams Warriors performance, as in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, The Dream Warriors, which does have me intrigued. I'm not going to lie.
Yes.
What is this show?
I don't think they know, and that's why it's so amazing. And not amazing in the good way. Like, this isn't like Stranger Things or like, get it all to me.
No, this is like when we were drunk watching Gotham last night, and I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah. And and it's one of those things too where like it's already aired. I'm watching it on Netflix. I could look up what's going to happen, but it is so banana pants crazy. I don't want to look up because I want to go through the haunted house. You know what I mean? I want to have the surprises. So, but after I finish Riverdale, I have Legends the next season lined up, ready to go. Because I can gang watch those. Like Riverdale, I have to take a break sometimes. Legends, I can just when Ash isn't around, I'm like, I'm gonna watch more of this.
Yeah. Well, you got the Bebo season next.
Yes, so... I know. I've been saving it.
Praise Bebo.
Praise Bebo indeed. So yeah. Solicits. Let's talk about Solicits. Let's get into the nitty gritty of the week. Actually, no, that's Solicits. Let's do the news item first. This seems like a bigger deal. And that is the announcement of Tom King and Gerard's book, along with Doc Shaner, in fact, and they're doing an Adam Strange book. So.
Yep. So, hell yes, because Adam Strange is one of those characters that I really love, but I don't get to talk to. I don't get to talk to him a lot, guys. Like the whole Zetabeam technology, he's always on Rand. No, I don't get to talk about much because he's not that much in the DC consciousness.
It's funny because he's one of those characters that I know a lot of creators want to do a book of and constantly pitch DC a book and basically always get turned down. Yeah, and so when I look at this and I think about what Mr. Miracle did and that it was basically a take on depression and fatherhood, and I think about what Adam Strange can be, and you look at the two covers that they released. One is this really slick Doc Shaner pulp.
Yeah. And the other one, yeah, Joe, I almost think I'm going to, and I don't know if they've actually, maybe we've talked about this in interviews, but just looking at these two covers, like you say, Shaner's got the pulpy 60s look, and then Gerard is like the dark side. It is the Mr. Miracle side, and it says Stranger Danger like over the top of it.
And like there's this forbidding, like telling him to go back or whatever, and I feel like this might actually be one of the best examples. If they're going to use this to flip between the two art styles constantly in the book, this might be one of the best uses of two artists that I've ever seen. If they continue with this kind of idea from this cover. So, because I would like to think that Shaner's handling the Rand stuff, right? The larger than life, sci-fi, and then Gerard's is dealing with Strange being back on Earth, and it's that gritty. Or maybe it's reversed. Well,
Joe, what I'm getting from it, Matt, I'm getting one is the propaganda of the hope of like this is why we're fighting this war, and then the other one is the truth of the war. It's the harsh reality of the war. Yeah, maybe. I also tied it to Gerard's because he was in the military. He's a veteran.
They're actually. I know they were talking about this at the panel when it was announced. Yeah. They're actually moving away from a lot of those themes. The PTSD, which is a big theme that King and Gerard's work on a lot, because obviously they both have that past. Right. No, they actually said this is actually going to be about the effect in a post-Trump world. Yeah, it's going to be about society after that. Well, and that's what I was gonna look about, like how his experience as a veteran, and how people might treat him differently, because there's one side that deify these guys, and there's another side that vilifies, and there's very little in between, and that's what those two covers tell me. You know what I mean? Yeah. One is this bright and shiny. One is this dark and one's
gritty.
The hero. One's the monster.
Exactly, and and you're playing with Adam Strange, and he's got a jetpack, and he's an archaeologist. Like,
yeah, I assume it's how Earth sees him versus how Rand sees him, kind of. Right. It's kind of weird if that is the case, and it's kind of making him into the Trump figure. Never would have expected that.
And this is where I think King really excels, and that's why I need to go get Vision, because that's been put up there with Mr. Miracle as one of these must reads. So
yeah, I've got the deluxe edition on Comixology. I just haven't touched it yet.
Yeah, I've had Vision on my Comixology for a while. So yeah, it's called Strange Adventures. Just to give you a title.
Which I do believe was the long-running Adam Strange series.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Because post, what was it, during 52? There was a Strange Adventures book that was like a one-shot that came out. That was Adam Strange, Animal Man, and Starfire.
Yep.
So it was so much fun. I like that a lot.
Yeah, so this is coming 2020. So they've announced this a little bit in advance, but obviously they're setting this up as another big book that's going to get a lot of buzz.
It was basically, hey, look at what they just won at the Eisners, and they did so great. Here's the next thing.
Yeah, and like it's funny because despite the fact that we all hated Heroes in Crisis, and despite the fact that Batman's been a bit rocky back and forth recently, I don't think any of that dampens my excitement for this, because this does feel like the next Mr. Miracle. It feels like that lineage of that type of book, which is King's best work from what I've read.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So real quick fun fact that Adam Strange was printed in Strange Adventures, but also that's where Animal Man came from. That's where he was. He originated. So that's pretty cool. I like when DC does that type of stuff, and they don't make a big deal about it. But yeah, I'm here for this. This is one I might triple dip on because it is Adam Strange. I might get the singles, the hardcover, then the paperback. So.
Get it digital as well. Make it a quadruple.
Sure. I'm sure my wife will love that.
Then eventually the absolute.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's not forget that because you know that's going to happen.
Yeah,
I'm surprised they haven't announced.
Maybe I don't need the hardcover. Maybe I'll get the absolute. I am buying a $200 lightsaber in a couple days, so.
Oh bloody hell!
I have to. Yeah.
Bloody hell!
I demand pictures.
Oh, you will. You will.
Oh, jeez. So that is the bit of news. We're going to solicits. Obviously, a lot of stuff in here. Actually, we're going to solicits. This is a good time. I should have said this at the start, but I'm going to do it now, so it's not at the end, just at the end. So on Patreon, which I'll plug properly at the end, but me and Car just put out our first episode of the new version of the thing we do on Patreon, which is comics from the Multiverse Extra, which is replacing the monthly, but it's now at the $1 tier, so you'll have to pay $1 to get access to it. And we're working through Gotham Central, one issue at a time, once per week. So issue 11 just went up. Why issue 11? Because we already did the first trade, which was the first 10 issues on a monthly episode, which is also accessible now in the $1 tier.
I was just going to say, have you done that already?
I have went through every episode. You can get the entire back catalogue of 20 monthly episodes in the $1 tier, so you can go and access all them. So you'll give that a listen. I felt it was worth pointing out, because I know some people will click, they won't listen to the plugs at the end. Like, you have to get them, you have to snipe at them somewhere in the middle.
It's an issue of Gotham Central every week, and then in September we'll be starting Crisis as well.
Yeah, so we'll have two going at the same time. We'll be doing Crisis and Infinite Earths. The idea being that we finish around the time that the crossover is going to be on TV.
Right.
So good fun. So go and check that out. Anyway, so also, did I tell the story last week about the release of Snyder Cut people kickstarting a bus stop ad right across from Comic-Con, but when it actually
not on the show.
Pretend you did.
Again, let's kick that hornet's nest. Let's just not kick it. Let's punt it down the field.
No, here's the great thing. They kickstarted this bus stop ad to be right across from Comic. The idea being everyone who goes to Comic-Con would see this ad. It'd, like, all the eyes would be on it. Once it actually got put up, some people actually did some, a little bit of Google mapping to see where it was, and it was actually like several streets away. The idea that being that a lot of people who go to Comic-Con would never see it.
Yeah, they couldn't afford the advertising spot right over the road. Clearly.
So on Sunday, I'm trying to grill burgers, and I forget what else we were watching, and Tim, in his infinite wisdom, decides to make a snarky tweet of, just let the Snyder Cut people have their movie.
Yes.
Which then whips them into a furor. I forget that they're this type of people. Then once they latch onto something, they don't let it go. And end up in a 20-minute argument. One
detail in that here, what I point out, is that Tim did not hashtag anything. He just made a statement.
That's what I was getting to.
Yeah.
That then this guy who I'm talking to Tim in a very measured and reasonable tone, this guy comes up and basically starts calling me out for being a comics fan. Mind you, to these Snyder people, Snyder's cut and his viewpoint supersedes any other version of the character. And that we're stupid for wanting characters to act like they should. And that I'm basically just a Marvel fan, as this guy claimed. And I went back and forth before finally locking myself out of my Twitter.
Yeah, that's happened to me, actually. I remember I once made a very passing comment about Superman not really acting like Superman in Man of Steel, and was just immediately called a Marvel fanboy.
Yeah, and so I checked back in on this guy. I think maybe he's just really active on Twitter. No, I'm pretty sure it's a dummy account because the guy hasn't tweeted since our interaction. So yeah, fun times.
That's keeping tabs. Tim eventually deleted the tweet because he was sick of notifications.
He did. Yeah.
Does he know you can just mute it, right?
But he felt it was doing more harm than good.
Yeah,
being left in the world. So and he didn't want people to think he's actually sympathetic to that. Because he needs people to know he was much more sympathetic to this year's Hellboy movie.
Oh, yes.
Which he gave me the best laugh of the week when he said that he had to get to Best Buy on his lunch to make sure there was enough copies of Hellboy left.
Oh, I responded to that tweet. Don't you worry.
Yes.
I was keeping track of it.
And to be fair, he was talking about the super nice looking steelbook, but it was still Tim, so I fully thought that he, was being sincere, in his Tim way. So.
Yeah, I feel like the comment read like someone going to Starbucks saying, "Oh, I hope I get there before the coffee runs out." Like that's what it sounded like.
Yep.
Oh dear. Although, I did once go to a KFC that ran out of chicken. Just.
That's weird.
Wow, there was the chicken crisis of 2018.
Oh, this was much before. That was like back in like 2012 or something like that. But
that's what the real apocalypse in 2012 was, Pete. The Colonel ran out of chicken.
There was a genuine chicken crisis in the UK for KFC where they changed supplier. It went badly. KFCs didn't have chicken for about a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they don't have the good. I don't know if you guys have Popeyes over there, but Popeyes has superior biscuits. You could argue superior chicken to
no Popeyes.
KFC.
Also, KFC do not do biscuits.
Well, what we call biscuits.
Yeah, well, they don't do those either.
What? Then what's even the point?
They're not a thing here, Matt. The thing you call biscuits just don't exist.
Yeah. No, you cannot get them maybe in a special American place, maybe.
So not even if you go to barbecue, they don't even have like a cornbread biscuit.
No.
Y'all need to be fixed.
I have literally never tried one of these things, Matt.
I've never seen them sold anywhere.
It's a bread roll, right? Like, do you guys just call them something different?
No, not what you've got.
Good.
No, we have lots of variations of bread that go with the meal.
Do not get us started on the name of a bread roll, because that is a national debate.
It's a roll. You call it a roll.
I don't care. When I went to Tim's wedding and I met Stu and Helen, and they tried to explain to me what a crumpet was, and I still am not 100% sure. And she goes, "That's okay. Most of the people in the country don't know what an actual crumpet is either." So
they were probably wrong anyway, because England have the wrong definition of a crumpet. It's fine.
No, we don't.
There you go. And this is what I'm sure Helen was referring to. So, anyways, biscuits are the whole reason I go to fried chicken places. Anyways, if you're ever here, check out a Popeyes.
It's
so
biscuits good. And racist white gravy. Yeah, no, thank you.
It's brown gravy. Thank you.
I've seen the pictures. I've seen the white gravy. Vile.
Yeah, that's country gravy. Okay. And there's sausage in it. It's lovely.
KFC gravy is fantastic.
Yeah.
KFC gravy's alright, yeah.
Y'all got mashed potatoes though, right? At KFC?
At KFC? No.
Occasionally. They do it as a limited thing every so often.
Oh my god, what is this bizarre world?
I love mashed potatoes, but I've never seen them in a KFC.
So like here, our main setup for KFC is fried chicken, coleslaw, mashed potatoes, biscuits, and sometimes mac and cheese. Depending on which KFC you're at.
I mean, I've never seen mac and cheese in a KFC either, but I don't like mac and cheese, so I'm okay with that.
No, but you get that at a lot of barbecue places. Unlike the biscuits, you do get that at barbecue places.
Yeah.
I do not. So is it just chicken?
Well,
and fries.
You got, like chicken and fries. Obviously, you got the chicken burgers as well as just the.
Yeah.
Well, typically, I get the boneless banquet, which gets you some big bits of chicken, gets you some the popping chicken, and I'll get a side of gravy. You can get sweet corn or beans instead, though, if you like.
Or coleslaw.
And you get fries with that. That's typically my go-to with the KFC.
So are they actual fries or are they like wedges?
Actual fries.
Okay. Here we have wedges.
I think they do wedges as well, though. I think that's an option.
I've never seen that.
This is blowing my mind.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Blowing my mind. Now I want Popeyes. I didn't even want Popeyes, but now...
This is the thing. When KFC ran out of chicken, they just didn't have
nothing.
Anything.
They had drinks to serve.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
most
I
of
could
them
see
closed.
people. Yeah, I could see people going and still getting sides, right? But with the sides that you guys just got, I'm sure there's better places to get said sides.
Are in the gravy, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Right.
most of them just close for a month.
Yeah, I it's weird though. I actually like. I don't know. I didn't have fast food much anyway recently for a long time, but I have basically completely quit it just because I've given up cheese, and every other place except KFC, like I need cheese in whatever I get. So
Why did you give up cheese? Are you okay?
I'm just
You just
trying
get,
to be
like, a
healthier.
burger without cheese.
What's the point, though, Connor?
Yeah, what's the point? That's the best part of the burger.
Yeah,
No, like you get like
that's
pretty sure like a Whopper and Burger King doesn't come with cheese as standard.
Oh,
I never get a
yeah, it
Whopper
does.
though.
I know here it doesn't.
Yeah. My boss, we have a place called In-N-Out. I'm sure you guys have heard me talk about it. It's like best burgers on the planet. I'll fight anybody who disagrees. But
You've mentioned it once or twice, yes.
yeah, so my boss had a bunch of free, like coupons and whatnot. So she went and got everybody lunch, and she forgot to get cheese on mine, and I didn't realize it till I was about halfway done with my burger because I was so hungry. So that's one that In-N-Out's so good that you don't need cheese, I would say, but it's better with it. It's taking it from like a 9.5 to a 10 when you have the cheese.
Yeah.
I'm worried about Pete. He's not drinking soda as much. He's not eating cheese. Pretty soon he's gonna be keeping normal hours.
Oh, never. No, that's never happened. I have to keep some vases, Matt.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't had Taco Bell in a week.
Oh.
So hey,
Yeah, that'll last about another 12 hours, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Try 4.
That's it. I have been munching on these Pringles today. I've got these fancy tandoori chicken Pringles.
I'm shocked that you've still got any left because personal experience, I opened one of those tubs of Pringles, they're gone in about 12
Oh,
minutes.
no, there's already half gone.
You can't stop. That's the logo.
I opened them a couple hours ago. I ate half of them. I just saved half for later because I want to look forward to some later. That's basically the reason why I stopped.
I remember going camping with my dad when I was real young, and squirrels got into the food tent, and they ate all his Pringles, and he was pissed.
That'd be pretty tasty too.
Like, they ate a bunch of everything else, but not his Pringles. That was the line. And I'm thinking about this. My dad had me, and my parents had me when they were really young. So if I'm about 3 or 4, my dad's only 20 years older than me. So he's about 26, 27. And very mad about his Pringles, and it cracks me up.
They took my diabetes medication. They took my inhaler. Yep. They took all these things that I need to live. But my damn Pringles.
My Pringles. You don't touch those. So I'm just laughing at somebody around my brother's age, full on kid, full on taking him camping, utmost stakes. But he's super mad they got into his Pringles, and it fills me with joy.
All right, should we do solicits?
Yeah, let's do solicits.
Okay, so solicits then. So we actually, this is a weird order. I guess it's just alphabetical. Never mind. Well, it can because Action Comics is not start. I don't know. We'll just go in order that Newsarama has them. It's fine.
Mine has them first. Starting with Action.
Mine's is not starting with Action. I thought it was going to be all the horror books first, but it's just one, and then it goes into a Batman book. So
I don't think there are any other horror books this month.
In October?
Yeah, I think it's just the one.
Oh, fair enough then. Okay. I
just have November.
Oh, that's why you're looking at the wrong one. We're on October, man.
Yeah, the November ones. There's only a handful. They're the ones with the acetate covers.
Yeah, we'll get to them. We'll get to them after.
We can leave them till November solicits. There's nothing interesting in them.
I'll have a quick glance. I'll see what's there. But
all right, let's go.
October. So we'll start with Basket Full of Heads. The Joe Hill comic. Talked about this when it was announced. This is the one. I'm skimming the description really quickly because I can't remember.
This is the one with the axe that keeps them alive after you decapitate them.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, it's a Viking axe, and I got so excited.
So this is Joe Hill writing, Leo Max on the art. 6 issues. Issue 1's out, and it's a $4 book, but it's got a $5 cardstock variant, which I assume is going to be a consistent thing with these solicits probably. There's a lot of them will have that. There we have The Batman's Grave. This is the Warren Ellis book we found out about last week. 12-issue series. Brian Hitch and Kevin Nolan on the art. So that's coming out in October as well. That is a week 2 book. Obviously, the horror book's on the 30th of October, so that's a week 5 book that month.
Yeah, I think I went through and did a picture of just how many books we have on each week. Oh boy, there might have to be some cuts.
Oh yeah, not might. There will be. So.
Yeah, I'm not going to make any decisions though until I get closer to time and see what else I would like to cut.
Yeah, here's the thing with the Joe Hill ones. As great as I'm sure they're all going to be, I don't know if I need to read them for the show. You know, like I might just
here's the thing though. I think I'm at the point with a couple of the books where I'm like teetering on quality that I'd rather read the Joe Hill horror books instead for some weeks.
Week 2 we have 15 books out.
Potentially, yes.
Potentially, yes.
Barring delays and whatever else happens.
Of course, yeah.
Next up, we got issue 1 of Birds of Prey, which is on the week 5 as well, interestingly. So I guess it's nice to spreading them out in October a little bit if the regular books coming out then.
I find these solicits and they're not coming up.
This is Brian Azzarello writing.
I got you, Matt.
Emanuela Lupacino and Ray McCarthy on the art. So again, we just found out about this in the last week or so. I'm skeptical on it, but YouTube are more excited. So
yeah, well, you're just upset.
I don't see what's not to like about this. Azzarello, Lupacino. I read
Birds of Prey. I've read plenty of Birds of Prey without Babs. I mean, don't ask me to name them right now, but I have.
What, the New 52?
Maybe.
Only one I can think of.
Let's not talk about it.
No, look, this has got Montoya as a major character. We got everyone else there. What's not to like about this? It's a great cover.
Yeah. We got the Joker, Year of the Villain one shot. This is out on the week 2. This is the John Carpenter written book. This is the one that I would most likely drop in a busy week, but at the same time, I'm so fascinated by the idea of John Carpenter writing this that I kind of want to read it. I'm just fascinated. So that's on the week 2. Then we have the Black Adam, Year of the Villain one shot. Paul Jenkins writing, Inaki Miranda on the art. This is out on week 4.
It's a horrible Romita Jr. cover.
Oh, I just clicked on it. That face. Oh,
Connor, to save time, just say it's a John Romita cover, Junior.
Yeah, the word horrible was redundant. That's a good point.
I was gonna say, I was like, wait, what? You said it was a Romita. I was like, are you just knocking off Junior there? I forgot I mentioned horrible.
Then we have Joker Harley Criminal Sanity issue 1. Did we know about this?
Yeah, this came out. We'd heard about this a while ago, I think, though.
Cami Garcia writing with Miko Suan and Mike Mayhew on the art.
Wasn't this one of the Zoomer Inc. books that got pushed over to...
No, this is a Black Label book.
It's a Black Label, that's right.
In Gotham City, where heinous acts of violence are a daily occurrence, the GCPD relies on Harley Quinn. Oh, that's going to go well. A young forensic psychiatrist and profiler to consult with the toughest cases. But Harley's haunted by an unsolved case the night she discovered her roommate's body marked with the signature of the notorious serial killer known as the Joker. So this is like her different origin essentially. And
it's by Cami Garcia, you said, which is the Raven and upcoming Beast Boy.
Yeah,
which is probably why you thought maybe it was a Zoomer Inc. thing.
Yeah,
that's probably.
So there's new murders like in present day or 5 years later. So I mean, this isn't on continuity, so it doesn't have to match up with the time, mainline DC.
Yep.
But so Harley gets involved again. And then that was out on week 2. Next up we have.
Worth noting though on that's prestige format, double sized, and it's 9 issues total, and presumably bi-monthly, like most of these.
Yeah, 9 double-sized issues. That is a hefty.
Yeah, and it's one of those 8.5 by 10.
Issue 1's going to have to wow me. Keep me reading that. Do you know what may happen? A couple of these like Black Label one-shot books on week 2, if week 2 is so goddamn big, is that I could see is just saying this officially moved like 2 or 3 of them to week 3 since week 3 is always dead.
Maybe
that may be the easy solution to that. Joker Kill a Smile is up next. This is a Jeff Lemire Joker book with Andrea Sorrentino on the art. This is out on week 5. This is also a double-sized prestige book, 3 issues though, so more of a normal length of one of these.
This is the standard we expect from these. The prestige 3 issues. That's kind of 6 issues over the 6 months.
Is that white cover new? I don't remember that one.
Yeah, I think.
I definitely saw that last week. It was buried in the article somewhere.
Was it? Yeah, I remember the
Carrie
green
Andrews one.
Yeah,
the green one, but so that's cool. That's cool. Next up, what's this? The Last God issue 1. Is this?
That's the fantasy book.
Yeah,
that's the fantasy book. Is that Black Label as well? Because it says mature.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah. We did talk.
So
about
one
this
that Connor's very excited for.
I am, because it looks fantastic.
That's also week 5. Joe, I will say this, looking to these solicits, we're going to have a very diverse mixture of books in October, if nothing else. There's a lot of different out of like mainline continuity stuff coming.
Yeah, definitely.
Which can make for some interesting discussions, if nothing else. Even if we're a little bit more scattershot over who's reading what, because I don't need to read Last God. You can.
I mean, I don't even know if I'll read it for the show. It's not even a DC book, even remotely at that point. And there's 8 other books on that week, not counting that one. So
until Etrigan shows up, and then you're gonna be like, damn.
Well, yeah. Don't say that.
Yeah. Next up, we have Legion of Superheroes Millennium issue 2. This is on week 1. It's the Bendis book, obviously. A few artists, so excited for that. See how this goes. Hell, even I'm excited. A little bit excited for a Legion book.
So it's like the futures of DC all coming together. It's very exciting.
Then we get Metal Men issue 1. This is out in week 3. This is the Dan Didio book that got announced in the last couple of weeks. 12 issue book. So there you go. Then we have RWBY issue 1. Ruby. Oh, that's it. Okay. This
is the one I think I mentioned a week or two ago. This is the Rooster Teeth one.
Oh, okay. All right. That's a lot of the band Churches, where you look at it and go, how the hell did I pronounce that? And then once you tell me, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I see what they're doing.
It kind of makes sense.
You mean Chavirches?
Chavirches, yes.
James hates it when I do that.
Oh dear. Sandman Universe presents Hellblazer issue 1. This is a bigger issue 1. It's just a $5 40-page book. This is out in week 5.
Yeah, this is a one shot, and then you'll get an actual issue 1 the following month.
So presumably
Hellblazer.
It's just called Hellblazer, when it gets going proper. Okay. So yeah, this is one that I can skip because I'm not a Hellblazer guy, but this seems.
Although it does come out the day before Halloween, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I assume this is one you're going to try, Connor.
Yeah. I've been digging the Sandman Universe stuff as a whole because it's been pretty fantastic. So looking forward to it.
Then we have Secrets of Sinister House. Oh, they're doing a horror 80-page one shot again, anthology book.
Yeah, although not on the 30th for some weird reason.
Yeah, it's on week 2. Which if we have 14, 15 books, not a chance in hell this is getting read.
Yeah.
But worth mentioning, they have Paul Dini, Raphael Albuquerque, Raphael Scavone, Brian Hill, and Dan Waters amongst the writers. And we have art by Raphael Albuquerque. I feel like I should know how to pronounce that. Looks like an Irish name.
Yep. Would it be Sean? Or Sean? It's probably Sean.
Yeah.
Maybe Sean.
I was going to say.
That's Sean under the influence of whiskey.
I'm just going to call him. I'm going to call him Ian. The C's silent.
Cian.
Jorge Fornes and others.
Apparently, it's actually just Kean.
It's just how it looks.
It's their equivalent of Keen.
Oh, it's just how it looks. I'm surprised by that, but on you go. Oh boy, Superman Smashes the Klan is next.
Buddy.
This is out on week 3. This is an 80-page book of 3 issues. So there's going to be 3 80-page books of this. $8. That is hefty.
That makes sense because originally we were under the impression it was going to be a graphic novel. Shot. So that kind of lines up.
Yeah, but this is bigger than what I would like. I would expect 2 of these to make a graphic novel. So this is a bit bigger than 1 graphic novel, I'd say.
I mean, 240 odd pages is a reasonably sized graphic novel. You get those.
I guess. I feel like most graphic novels I read tend to be about 160. I feel like they always seem to fall into a very similar range for me.
Fair enough. You're just reading the wrong ones.
So this being 80 pages, I do want to cover it for the show, but might have to do a special.
It is on a week 3.
Yeah. I'm just saying I don't know if I'm going to have time to get it because it's 80. You know what I mean?
What I would say is, for this one, you don't necessarily have to get to it the week it comes out. If you get to it the following week or maybe week 5 that month, then I think that's
worth
fine.
Knowing, the week 3 that we have penciled in is officially 8 books. Reality, it'll be 7. We'll get to that. So 7 books. This is one of them. So it's kind of 6 plus. I mean, this is 4, admittedly. So it's kind of like reading 10 books.
So that's what I'm saying.
It's October. I mean, this is what we're learning.
This is what I was.
Do you remember like 3 months ago when people were like, "Oh, DC's dying. They're going to publish no more books."
We literally can't handle all these books come October. Yeah. Yeah, we'll do so. I mean, if you want to cover it, Matt, well, I mean, I have no problem reading this either. I'd be curious to check this out.
I want to read this. Boy,
it's every other month, 80 pages. Maybe we could do this as a bonus thing or something. I don't know. We'll talk about it closer to the time. See if we want to try and work something out, or even I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, next up we got Tales from the Dark Multiverse, Batman Nightfall issue 1. So one shot, $6, 48 pages. Look at all these bigger books that they're putting out. All these one shots that are like huge. And I can't believe some of these bi-monthly books are like 60, 80 pages. You know, they're going nuts with this.
Yeah.
Also, why are you chatting to Matt? My phone's vibrating over at the side because.
Well, Matt sent a message saying Skype's a dick, and I was like, "What's wrong with it?" Oh, I think he's frozen.
Oh, he's frozen. Oh, he's left. Oh, there you go.
That's why he's being.
We didn't even notice.
It's a little bit odd. Matt was being that quiet.
Oh, Matt's back. That's exciting.
Yeah.
we totally noticed he's gone.
Totally noticed straight away. So yeah, Tales of the Dark Multiverse, Batman Nightfall issue 1 is out on week 3, and it is a $6 48-page book. And then likewise, Tales from the Dark Multiverse, The Death of Superman issue 1, also a one shot, is out on week 5, $6, 48 pages. So same format for both of those.
Now,
so neat.
Next up, I know you usually skip over these, but I'm intrigued because there's a lot of giants. Yeah, Flash, Batman, Wonder Woman. Now, these are mostly reprints, but they do also includes X amount of new pages of new stories. And I have not heard anything about these anywhere.
Mine doesn't say anything about new things on them.
Yeah, Batman Giant #1 includes 24 pages of new stories plus classic reprints.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see.
DC Ghost Giant. I have no idea what DC Ghost is.
No. DC Villains includes 32 pages of new stories. I have no idea what any of these are. I have no idea. What's that?
There's a ton of them as well. Like there's 10 of them.
There's quite a lot. They're pretty much one a week. These actually backdate into September and go all the way through November.
And funnily enough, they've got a Scooby-Doo one, which is just they're formatted with the rest of them. It's the same format, it's the same page count, same price, the same. And it's worth mentioning, most of it is reprints, and it's priced accordingly. It's a $5 book. It's 96 pages, so I mean they're pricing it kind of
reasonably enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no teams attached to these new stories, no covers. I don't have any idea what these are, but I just wanted to mention them.
I have to imagine they're probably not important, but because otherwise they wouldn't just shit them out like this and then.
You'd think, wouldn't you?
So I don't know. So that wraps up the new stuff. So then we get to the regular meat of the potatoes of the solicits. We have Action Comics 1016. And obviously all these are typically on their usual weeks, as you'd expect them. Which is obviously for Action usually week 4. Aquaman 53. We have an Aquaman annual on week 4, not week 5. Very interesting.
With the co-writer.
Yeah, Aquaman annual issue 2. So yeah, Kelly Sue DeConnick and Vita Ayala. Is that his surname?
Ayala, which I definitely recognize the name. She's definitely written some DC stuff before.
Yeah, we've encountered Vita stuff before. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Year of the Villain tie-in issue, which makes me less excited about it, admittedly. But
but it's MC-based Founders Day Festival,
and it's about Aquaman's missing dog.
Yeah.
Oh, it may be a delightful story about Aquaman and his dog. Then I wouldn't dare say otherwise. We got Batgirl issue 40, still Cecil Castellucci writing that, and Giandomenico on the art as well. Which is we'll talk about their first issue later today because that's what we got this week. So that's cool. Batman 80 and 81. Art by John Romita Jr.
No.
Remember when we were told this arc was all going to be Tony Daniel? I think at one point.
No.
I mean, it's not just Junior, but he's one of 2 artists.
Klaus Janson, the regular collaborator. Janson was also co-responsible for that Black Adam cover earlier. So.
Is this how we go out with this King run? We go out with Romita Jr.
It looks like it might be final 5 or 6 issues.
Oh God. Oh God. There's a 4th Batman annual out on week 5. $5, 48 pages. 2 unique stories by Batman Mastermind Tom King. We got Lee Weeks and Jorge Fornes on the art. Yeah. So
I think I'm more excited about that than the actual main issues, because that'll just be keep doing a one shot, which typically I've enjoyed most of those.
Yeah,
like some of those have been his best.
Yep.
Him and Weeks reteaming plus Jorge Fornes.
Yeah, who we've been seeing a lot during the main book recently as well.
So
yeah, Weeks' art's fantastic. So I can't.
Batman in space. So which James would be so mad.
Yeah. We got Curse of the White Knight issue 2, or sorry, issue 4. Sorry, issue 2.
Yeah.
Issue 4. Again, $5 for just a typical page count, which is
sucks a little bit.
Not great, but
that said, this first issue felt longer. It has a lot. I think it has a lot of backup material. A lot of like sketches and pencil work, which is.
It feels weird to me not to include that in the page count in the solicit, though. Maybe that's just a standard thing. Is you don't include the.
Yeah, this is just material. 32 pages of story, and then.
Well, that's the thing, though. It's not though. Like an actual comic has 20 pages of story, and then.
Yeah, this definitely has more than that of story. This has closer to 30 pages of story. This first issue.
Yeah, that's so. I'm not sure how they're counting the page count here for these Curse of the White Knight issues.
I wonder if it just doesn't have ads.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
spoiler for later. That's fine. I will give me as much as they want to give me. I'll pay for it.
Then we get Batman the Outsiders issue 6. Continuing things. Yeah. Batman the Outsiders annual issue 1 on the week 5, with Max Raynor stepping in for the art. The soul of Katana's husband, Mazio, is experiencing great unrest within her sword. The Outsiders must find a way to relieve him, or else the blade itself may shatter, unleashing not only Mazo, but whatever unknown spirits and sorcery are trapped within him in the Pandora's box of Katana's blade. So, Katana focus one shot in the annual.
Yeah.
That's cool. That.
Yeah. I got Batman Beyond 37. We got Batman Creature of the Night issue 4. See, that's still not out yet.
No, that was my reaction when I saw that as well. I was like, "Holy shit! I thought that had finished like a year ago."
And I like those first 2 issues a lot. I think I'm going to love reading that whole thing start to finish. But at this point, I will be reading the whole thing start to finish.
Just going to check. The first issue came out. Anyone like to hazard a guess?
I'm going to guess sometime 2017.
Matt? A bit more specific. Care to guess when the first issue of this came out?
Of Creature of the Night?
Yeah.
October 2016.
Okay. Pete, do you want to get more specific in 2017?
I'm going to say Q1.
Okay. Well, you're both overshooting it a bit. It was November 2017.
Still, though.
But,
long time ago.
I remember it came out around Halloween, so...
I remember.
So you're telling me this is only just barely beating Doomsday Clock?
Barely.
Even though they started at the same time.
4 issues. I remember this when this came out because it was the weekend I wasn't here on the show because I was going to the Harry Potter studio tour.
Yeah.
So I remember it came out that week and I was like, Jesus, that was that long ago. How is this not finished?
So I like the first issue. I think it's going to be a great book once it's all done. This is taking an absurd amount of time though. So I'm not surprised if this issue 4 gets almost no purchases just because it's been so goddamn long. Everyone's waiting for the trade now. Everyone's just like, no, I'll read the book when it's a done thing. So you got that Batman Superman issue 3.
Sorry, I actually just read the solicit of Creature of the Night. It's the unmissable finale of one of the best reviewed miniseries of the year. Of which year?
Yeah, not this year. Oh dear. So, Batman Superman issue 3, that's still going. And then we have Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 issue 6. So that's wrapping up in October. Batman vs Ra's al Ghul issue 2. This is the Neil Adams 6 issue book, which we're staying away from.
The first issue actually got delayed by about a few weeks, maybe a month.
AKA hard pass.
Yeah. Catwoman 16. Still not a final issue. I keep looking for it.
Yeah, I do as well. I'm expecting it every time.
I'm just not convinced it's long for this world. But I mean, Jello Jones is back on the art at least.
Yeah, and then this arc it seems like it's back to doing the Creel stuff. So I might have to check it out when it's all said and done.
Deathstroke 48.
Yeah, that's still a thing.
Priest still going strong. Deceased issue 5. Obviously pumped about that.
So for the movie cover, they're getting more and more depressing.
Interestingly, issue 6 is also October. They're doing week 1's get issue 5, and then they're doing issue 6, the final issue, on the day before Halloween at the end of the month, which makes a lot of sense,
doesn't it?
Makes a lot of sense.
I like that.
What's the
That's Detective Chimp.
Oh, it's the Critters one, yeah.
Yeah.
This one's. I mean, I like Critters, and I like the way this cover looks. I think it's a bit of a stretch though, making him look like Detective. Look like Critters. I don't think he has the right body shape to really make it the comparison work.
A little bit, but I mean. Yeah, what are you gonna do?
They're scraping the bottom of the barrel for their. I mean, they did like 3 Conjuring universe movies in a row.
They did.
Yep.
But the actual Conjuring one was so good.
Yeah, the seasoning still up there is one of the best.
Yeah.
I'm still annoyed that's not the title of that issue.
Yeah.
Very possibly. Very possibly. I wonder actually if that's why we ended up with that one shot. It was because so they could do the last issue in time for Halloween. So they wanted to.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, I could see it. Detective Comics 1013 and 1014, both out in October. So that's the thing. And I think something we have to keep reminding ourselves of here is that come New Year, we're actually going to single shipping in all these double shipping books. There's not a ton of them left, but it's enough that, Flash and Wonder Woman will be down to 1.
What have we got? Flash, Wonder Woman,
Justice League,
Detective, Batman,
Justice League.
Yeah, Justice League.
So... And Flash and Wonder Woman both help week 2, or 4, whatever one they end up not being on. No, in our luck, they'll both be on week 2 still.
Yeah, probably.
So Event Leviathan issue 5 is out in October.
Oh, those covers look great.
Yeah, they do look really good. You get Flash issue 80 and issue 81. So that's going on, which is neat. Flash Forward issue 2.
Nope, not on next.
It hurts how good those Doc Shaner covers are, though.
Yeah. Freedom Fighters issue 10's out.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go. Gotham City Monsters issue 2 is out. This is the Steve Orlando book, which obviously starting in September. Has some people fairly excited.
I was kind of intrigued, and now I've seen the amount of books that are actually in October, and I'm going, do I need to read this?
Well, I mean, issue 1's in a quieter month, so you can read issue 1 and then make a choice.
I read this Solicit, and they're going to somewhere called Monster Town, and yep, I have to. I can't not.
Yeah. I mean, even with cuts, Matt, I think you're just going to have to accept that October's going to be one of your most densely packed comic months in a while.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I can't see November being significantly better.
True, but at least all the new things that came out in October, you can make some choices about which ones you want to keep in November. There's some positives. Of course, I do love that they're doing this in October when I have the Octoberthon to contend with and other commitments. So thanks for that, DC, you pricks.
Yeah.
We got the Green Lantern issue 12 coming out in October.
Yeah, which actually is kind of the final issue.
Yep.
If you read the solicit text, so it mentions there's no Green Lantern 13 next month, but Morrison is crafting the next chapter of this story and it's coming soon, only there's no Green Lantern in the title.
So they're doing like a sequel book, they're not doing a continuation.
Yeah, so they'll be doing a sequel book, presumably with Hal, I assume, but not as a Green Lantern, maybe?
Yeah, this is so cool that we completely uprooted all Green Lantern properties so Grant Morrison could go play in a goddamn sandbox.
Look,
thanks, DC.
I would be very happy to have other Green Lantern books alongside
Matt,
this.
The upside is, though, Matt, is that if they're officially taking it away from Green Lantern with the second part, they might actually announce a new Green Lantern book for November, December. That's the other characters, maybe.
I'm misreading Jess and Kyle and Guy and John.
I would think it probably won't be till the new year at this point if they didn't announce it during Comic-Con with everything else.
Maybe. They didn't announce a whole lot for November or December, though. But admittedly, December doesn't tend to be a time where they start a lot of things, just for reasons.
Yeah.
So Green Lantern issue 12's out. Harleen issue 2, this is the Sejic Harley Quinn book, the Black Label. This is prestige format, every other month, 64 pages, $8. As much as this is a big book, I think I want to read it just for the art.
Yeah, bloody Sejic.
Sejic's that damn good that on that week 4, I'm like going to try and squeeze it. I'm do you know what? I'm accepting that I'm going to have to spend like multiple days reading books in October because
the horror.
Because this is the thing, I've got into this habit right now where I typically can just read all my books on a Saturday before the show. It's just my weekly routine now. I enjoy my Saturday morning reading my books. That's what I do.
Must be nice.
I can't do that in October.
I can't do that any week.
No, if I don't get started on Wednesday as soon as I can, I'm not gonna finish.
Yeah. I mean, you are getting by your time zone, Matt, a little bit because you obviously start right at the start of your day on a Saturday.
Yeah, and well, no, I have to start on yeah. Well, yeah.
I also often work Saturdays, so yeah. I will often finish work an hour before we start recording on a Saturday.
Yeah, so that was the first of all these Harley books. Then we get Harley Quinn 66. Humphries is still writing that. So that's coming. And then we have Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy issue 2. This is the Jodie Hauser book.
Which they have announced so many books in the last month. I forgot this existed.
As did I. I had completely... And Adriana Milo on the art, who I like from Plastic Man as well.
Yeah, and a Janin cover.
Like, stop it, DC. Calm down. We don't have enough time for all these books. Hawkman 17's out in October. Continuing on. Is Pat O'Leaf and Tom Palmer the artists we've been expecting on this, or have they been rotating?
That sounds familiar from the last issue.
Yeah.
Sure. Inferior 5 issue 2, Keith Giffen and Jeff Lemire.
This is the
Arizona.
Yeah, the Dominators after Invasion.
Oh yeah. Again, I had completely forgotten this existed. I'm glad you had remembered this because I didn't.
And I'll be skipping it because, too many books.
12 issues as well.
Last month I was like, yeah, I'm down for this. This sounds great. Yeah. This month, maybe not.
Like I said, all the stuff that starts in September, you can try them in September and it'd be like, well...
Yeah, but I don't want to try it in September and love issue 1. And then
be like, yep.
Yeah, but then you might hate all the books you try in October. Well, you should have stuck with the book in September.
Good thing the internet has all these books when you want them. Just go to Comixology and be like, oh, hey.
Oh, yeah, because
here's the book I didn't download.
Because trying to catch up for the following month's issue is always
it probably wouldn't be caught up. It would just be a case of I would read it.
Yeah.
Justice League 33 and 34 are coming out. Yeah. Justice doing more's happening, I guess.
Hypertime quakes. This is feeling like a crisis.
Yeah.
Justice League Dark issue 60 is out. Justice League Odyssey issue 14 is out. Dan Abnett's still pulling his weight on there. Bless him. Doing his best.
Yeah,
it still exists. There you go, Pete. You want to be reading Jessica Cruz, so you know where to find her.
Piss off. Well, a good Jessica Cruz book. You got Lois Lane issue 4. Rucka, of course, and Perkins still doing the thing.
That's got a Lupacino Lois cover, and oh man.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh yeah. Martian Manhunter issue 9. Orlando still continuing with that. Nightwing 65. Jurgens, but it's still Rick, of course. Nightwing Annual issue 2 on the week 5. So you get a double dose of Rick.
They're actually doing something that was teased back in the Higgins Nightwing run, which was the Talon Dick.
You know about the Dick Talon?
Yeah.
The Grey Son of Gotham?
Oh,
yeah.
I wish...
Will Rick Grayson at last become the Grey Son of Gotham he was destined to be? So, yeah, they're kind of playing with that.
Hey, DC, why don't you get your crap together, give Kyle Higgins Nightwing back, and just let's do it, please?
I know there's better people to put on Nightwing.
Yeah, but we know Higgins, it's consistency.
He's tried and tested. We know he wants to do more.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't be super pumped. It was kind of like when they put Tomasi on Detective. It was like, okay, that's a solid choice in theory, although obviously we weren't super thrilled about it.
I'd be super pumped just because it wouldn't be Rick Grayson.
Yep.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they put Jurgens on it, and it was still Rick Grayson. It's not like the writer change mattered before.
But it's still Rick Grayson.
Would only come back if it was
for Dick, right?
Okay.
He's coming for all that Dick.
He's coming back for Dick. All right, just so we're clear on this.
Yeah.
Red Hood Outlaw issue 39's out. Connor will be reading that, of course.
Still not a final issue. Oh Christ, Doomed's back.
Who's back?
Doomed.
Oh,
that was that. You know that not Doomsday book that Dell had. In the
yeah.
Oh, for
you can look forward to that. Shazam issue 11, although there's no way that's actually coming out on this date. More on that.
We'll just mention it here. Because they're claiming issue 11 is coming out when?
The 16th.
16th
right,
October,
yeah. So I think we've spoken about it every week for the last month or so, but Shazam issue 7 onwards have been pushed back again. So issue 7 is now due August 28th, 8 September 11th, 9th September 25, and issue 10 October 5th.
So they're planning 2 months in a row with 2 issues each. Yeah.
Just stop soliciting it. Just wait.
Oh dear. I will enjoy reading it when it comes out, but yeah, they've been pushing it a lot. We got Supergirl issue 35. So that's still going strong. Superman 16, of course. Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen issue 4's coming out. Matt's favorite book, Superman Year 1 issue 3 is out.
That Miller cover. Oh boy.
I'm clicking on it. Hold on.
That's something else.
Oh my god. Why does Wonder Woman's head look bulkier than Superman's head? I'm confused by this.
Why does the tiara cover like her entire face?
Why does she have Bruce Campbell's chin?
Why is her head pointing in a completely different direction to her body in that pose?
Also, what leg is that? Is that the left leg or the right leg? I can't tell.
It's a good question.
They may be publishing too many books. There's so many like 60 to 80 page books in October. I can't imagine them all selling amazing. I really can't. But we'll see. Maybe they'll all do better than the regular books. So maybe these prestige books are the ones that make the money now. I mean, I guess we'll find out. But yeah, Teen Titans 35 is out. That's still going. Terrifics 21. Still not a final issue. I keep checking for that as well. Just because
you just kind of like got that expectation that someday soon.
It's that in Catwoman. Although you're just wishful thinking with Red Hood, but that in Catwoman I actually do expect to be cancelled at some point.
No, I admit Red Hood is wishful thinking. I don't actually expect it. The Catwoman
the last New Age book standing, like kind of expecting it.
Yeah, I mean, we always knew this one would last the longest. I just felt like it would, but.
Tula Lotte Wildcats cover.
And then, of course, Wonder Woman issues 80 and 81 are both out. So that's still going. As well as an annual by Orlando out on week 5.
I can skip that. Because it's an event Leviathan tie-in.
Oh, it's a Leviathan tie-in. It's an annual. Yeah. Even week 5 seems pretty busy at this point. I actually.
We have something like 9 books on week 5.
Yeah,
and a lot of them are annual sized.
Yeah, maybe I'll skip the Wonder Woman annual. Maybe I don't need that in my life.
You see that Frisian cover?
For 81?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice.
The other cover's pretty cool too. You know, it's like
it's
cool. Cheetah tearing through, but that
Frisian actually.
With the way that it's playing with the light.
Is it just me? Because see, before I clicked on the other cover, the cheetah one, to open it big, it looked like a Wolverine cover just from a glance because of the claw marks. And then I clicked on it, and I was like, it also looks like a Captain America shield. There's a lot of Marvel imagery going on in that in a subtle way. So that's cool. And then that is it for mainline DC. After that, we get to your Vertigo or your Sandman universe or whatever we're calling it now. We got some young Justice stuff. We got Daleks for Hero issue 8. We got Wonder Twins issue 8. Young Justice issue 9. All down here at the bottom. Forgive me for almost skipping.
Yeah, how dare you? And we got more. Batman Universe issue 4. Superman Up in the Sky 4.
Oh, where are they? Are they past the Dollar Comics?
They are past the Dollar Comics. Yeah. Titans Burning Rage 3. Wonder Woman Come Back to Me 4.
Oh, snap. Young Justice 9. That Solicit. As if I wasn't loving that book more. Bendis weaving that tapestry here, right? Like,
dear. Oh dear. All right, that was a meaty Solicits this month.
Yeah.
Meaty Solicits. So, and bizarrely, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was, because I assumed there was going to be like a bunch of those horror books. It's just one. That's actually not that impactful to the October Solicits. Yeah. So hey. All right, well, there you go. And as mentioned, there was some advanced solicits for November. Nothing super shocking. It was just, the next Batman, the next Aquaman, the next Action.
Yeah, and it wasn't even the double shipping options. It was just the ones with the fancy variant acetate cover.
Yeah. I'm just quickly scanning to see if anything jumps out, but it is all just next issues of some of the regular ongoing books. So if you want to see some of those covers, you can. A couple of them are quite nice, obviously. But it doesn't seem like anything super worth talking about. Nah. All the juicy stuff will be in the actual solicits next month. So what is one of these covers? I actually don't know what this means. What is a acetate cover?
I think it's the way that the art's done a little bit different.
Coming from acetate, is that not the stuff that you use on like old projectors? That was acetate sheets, wasn't it?
Yep. So you're saying that it's super flammable?
No, you know, like the projectors you had in school. You put the film sheet
slides.
onto it. Yeah, the slides. Yeah, that's acetate, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
So I am. It is the idea of you can project your covers. I don't know.
So concept.
I'll let you guys know. Anytime I'm on Skype, it takes away.
Do you know, I had one teacher who used that, the light projector thing, but didn't actually have pre-printed things on the sheets. She just used a blank one, and she would just write on it.
Write on it, yeah.
That was an overhead.
Yeah, I had one teacher who did that. Cool. Everyone else had like printed things on the sheets.
Here you go. I've got.
Yeah.
So
I have it too.
Acetate covers are comprised of a standard comic cover and then another translucent plastic cover over the top. Both covers feature detailed artwork, but the plastic cover is designed to obscure some of the art of the cover underneath, allowing for surprising reveals when the plastic cover is pulled away, revealing the thematically linked art beneath.
If there's anything that sounds like a gimmick less, I'd love to know, because this is a gimmick.
That sounds like great for like a porn magazine. They've got clothes on, and then you lift the front cover, and then it's like, oh, they're naked.
Yeah,
I would put money on the fact that's already been done.
Probably.
Simpsons with the Homer with the pen, where he has the the naked lady in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, it's pretty good. Real quick, you guys are Watchmen guys, because this just popped up when I was looking this up.
Sure.
President Robert Redford, was that a Doomsday Clock thing, or was that in the original Watchmen?
I don't remember that in the original Watchmen.
I don't remember it.
Okay. Well, because on the Watchmen HBO show, Robert Redford is playing President Robert Redford. So
I thought Redford was retired.
But not to play himself. So.
Hey, you want to be president?
Yeah,
dude.
You wanna, and he's notoriously a liberal guy. So you wanna take the steam out of Reagan, huh? So.
Jesus Christ! Yeah, that was one of like 10 trailers that came out of Comic-Con that was like all over the place.
It just came up on the side of this site that when I looked up the acetate cover. So.
By the way, biggest shock thing from Comic-Con, honestly, is that they got Natalie Portman back. That Marvel. That is the biggest surprise for me.
And we're getting Jane Thor. Which now I'm having to argue with these idiots on the internet about how Thor can't be a girl, and we're just doing 6 years ago again. And it frustrates the shit out of me. But I'm very excited.
We already had that argument.
Yeah.
We already won that argument.
Thor Love and Thunder is actually the one out of all those announcements that I'm most excited for. Because you got Taika Waititi, you got Lady Thor jumping in. I'm all for this.
And apparently him and Gunn are working together to make the narrative weave in with Guardians Volume 3.
Yeah, which is coming later, yeah.
Yeah, so... Oh, man. Again, as a DC fan, these Marvel movies, it's... Oh, man. I'm very excited.
That and the Hawkeye show, which they're clearly taking inspiration from the Fraction book.
Yeah, well, you got the logo. They officially confirmed there will be Kate Bishop in it.
Yep.
So yeah.
Well, and then
talk guy.
You talk about all the movies that are coming out and how it looked like there was going to be 7 movies in a year, and they're the TV shows, but the TV series on Disney Plus are actually going to count as movies, because of the stories that they're groundworking. So they got you. If you're invested into this saga, you're watching them all.
That's basically, hey, you better subscribe to Disney Plus, or you're going to be missing out.
And also, it seems like they've thrown out the Netflix when they cast Mahershala Ali as Blade, which, hell yes.
That's neat. Obviously, it's like, okay, so I guess a Blade movie's coming later as well then. Like, I guess that's the other thing that they've...
Yeah, we know there's a Blade movie, Black Panther 2, Guardians 3. Those are all coming after 2021.
All the stuff,
Spider-Man 3 as well is basically confirmed as well. You didn't say that, but...
No, but these are ones that Feige has outright said are coming. So
I know he listed a set, but like I think the only reason why he didn't say Spider-Man is because technically the current one didn't cross the billion yet, but it has done since.
Since Comic-Con, it nosed over. And
if anything, it wouldn't shock me if Spider-Man 3 gets shoehorned into 2021 because Sony want it out quicker. It wouldn't shock me if that happens.
I wasn't as invested in Endgame topping Avatar. I mean, that's cool. Like, finally somebody knocked Cameron down. But I was much more watching the Spider-Man because I've seen what Sony does with Spider-Man by himself, and it's not okay. They're animated. I love Spider-Verse, but let's let Marvel Studios do their thing. All right.
Yeah, I will say they did cheat a little bit to cross that threshold. They did that sly little re-release with like some unfinished Hulk visual effects in the post credits, but a bit cheeky on their part, but whatever.
And it looked like it still wasn't going to make it, didn't it?
Yeah. Because they literally just crossed it. Like they got there and no more.
They scraped just over.
So yeah.
And now I think I saw a tweet that said Disney's competing with Disney to top Disney.
Yeah.
Like, this is the
classic Disney.
Yeah, right. I think out of all of the top money earners that I think it's still Titanic. They don't have, right? Because that's still in the top. Did they get Titanic in the purchase? Oh wow! I didn't realize that was Fox.
Oh, actually, hold on. Now I think about it.
Yeah, no, that had a weird release, didn't it?
It was a cool thing with Paramount. I think Paramount still technically have half of it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And if you half that value, then it's not in the competition anymore.
Yeah. Right, so then I just think it's the Fast movies that are up in the top 10 and Jurassic, but the rest of them are all Disney now.
Give them 3 years.
Which honestly, I don't like. I do want competition to fight them properly. I don't want Disney to dominate. So
it's too late for that.
That said, can you? I mean, it's the Vince McMahon thing. Can you compete with yourself? WWE has not been able to. As we're seeing, it looks like
here's the difference though. When Disney got Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, whatever, they let them all kind of essentially operate as still their own thing, right?
Yeah.
And that's why it's kind of worked. When WWF bought WCW, it was like, no, they're dead now because we don't want them to exist. We wanted to erase them from history.
These still have competition between the departments. Like when a Star Wars film comes out, there's still can we beat the Marvel? Even though yes, they're both Disney, they still want to beat the other department, don't they?
Yeah, and so with what I was talking about with WWE right now is there's a whole brand split that is now gone, and they were supposed to be competing with each other, but it's hard to compete when you have the guy, that runs everything handicapping you the whhole time and making you fight with your hand behind your back because, and Disney's not doing that. Iger's smart enough. I listened to a lot of theme park stuff, and I listened to one this week about how Eisner was much more about that competition, where Iger is all about the bottom line.
I think the difference,
and that's all that counts now,
between the Disney and the movie industry versus the wrestling stuff is, with the wrestling, okay, they dominated, fine, that's it. They were, from what I can gather, they were come watch us or piss off.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Disney still want to make more money. They still want to get the next benchmark, even if it's competing against themselves. They still want to make that. And
that's the difference between Eisner and Iger, is that Eisner's like, well, no, piss off. If you're not going to do Disney, I don't need you. Whereas Iger's like, oh, no, this is the bottom line. I brought in number crunchers. This is what's going to work. And, Lion King, still haven't seen it because I've kind of ran out of steam for these remakes. But it's, it's done well.
Performed pretty well because people give a shit about Lion King.
Exactly. So Iger's got it. I trust this guy. He put Feige in charge. He's putting the right people at Pixar after that had a, Black Shroud for a hot second. So...
All right, let's talk about books. And first up this week, we have Action Comics 1013. Brian Michael Bendis writing with Szymon Kudranski on the art.
Yeah.
What a name. Superman's back in action this issue because he was missing all last issue.
A little bit.
Joe, it's funny. Obviously, one of the complaints we've had a lot of this month with the books is this year the villain, the author stuff. And I will say there's 2 books this week that I think use it better than any of the other books that we've had all month, and this is one of them.
They break the formula, and here that's what I like because it was becoming too much of a formula. It felt tagged on. Here it felt like part of the story. Yeah, and I think that helps when you're Bendis, right?
Yeah, because we have both at the start and the end because we have 2 different characters who get the offer, and the good thing about the opening scene because it's Luen who Luthor comes to and reveals that I knew about you all this whole time. You building your secret empire in Metropolis. I knew about you, and instead of taking what he's offering, which is in this box we don't get to see. She basically gets her guards to run her out and demolishes the house because this place is burned. Like no one can know here. So
and this is how you can tell this is how she's been able to keep it a secret. I mean, not from Lex because he's Lex, right? But she does stuff like this, and I love how the henchmen are like, "Well, do you want us to get any paintings?" She's like, "Nah, you gotta leave everything. We gotta go." Yeah, and it shows just how far she's willing to go to keep her mafia invisible.
Yeah, it bizarrely made me think of Stranger Things season 3.
A little bit
of Bowman getting his phone number leaked out. He's like, I need to move now. What are you doing to me, Hopper? Goods with Perry, and she's trying to pitch the story because she got from Rose and Thorn, and we get some more of the images of that. We get more of the story of how she was offered. She kind of turned it down, and then was attacked in her house by his people, their people, Leviathan. So again, it's now seeming like me, maybe they're not that altruistic. I've been waffling back and forth, which I think that's a good mystery, right? Where you think you have it figured out, they add a new detail and it throws everything off. Yeah, I love the coloring in the this part of the story where we get her fight because she comes in, she becomes Rose, realizes she's in danger and becomes Thorn again. And starts just wrecking them, and it's just all these black steep reds. Well,
and I love the borders too. That the more she goes into Thorn, the more sketchy the borders get, and they're red. Which is real cool.
Good. And she's telling this to Perry, and she's trying to convince him there's a story here, and he actually eventually agrees. She has kind of a funny moment where her hand kind of starts to go into red mist, and she has to run out. And he actually compliments her when she leaves, going, "Oh, she got the yes," and just immediately ran away. She's starting to fit in.
Yeah. Well, because he tells her also write both pieces because there's 2 pieces here about Rose and Thorn, number 1, and the second one is about Leviathan. Because there's 2 different scopes here doing both, which I thought was pretty cool. Then we see her in the bathroom, and Trish comes through, which I thought was a funny, nice little late moment. It's like, Perry finds out you're smoking in here because she's, in red cloud mode.
This is the fun little bit of humor to give it some pacing. Superman's back on the next page, and he comes down to stop Thorn, who is just blasting Leviathan soldiers as much as she can. There's actually a point where I was like, why is Superman not intervening? Because there's a really funny moment where she just kind of shoots someone behind her. But then Superman mentions, no, their armor's bulletproof. He knows he doesn't have to. So I was like, okay, nice. Fair enough.
They're bulletproof, and he knows what he has to do because he x-rays stuff. But then this is where we find out that blue aura that's been snapping people is a teleportation thing. Yeah,
because he gets teleported to India. So they don't fight him; they just move him far enough away that they can clear out.
Which breaks open for Clark about what if these attacks weren't actually attacks and they were recruitment.
Yeah, or at the very least kidnapping.
Yeah, kidnapping's right. So
I love Thorne's demeanor through all this. Actually, was cracking me up. She's just got this very blasé, I'm going to kill everything attitude that was just kind of amusing to me. Also, the soldier that he tries to talk to, Superman tries talking to him, and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to try and lift off your mask. Is it booby trapped? I don't want to hurt you or anything like that." And he's like, "I don't know. I actually don't know if what's going on in my suit." It does kind of sound like, is he brainwashed? Is he sort of been forced into this role? Is he this willing? Like, does he believe in what he's doing? Like, it really was making me sort of think of these questions, given the way he was reacting. But yeah, he gets teleported to India, and then Clark comes to Perry, kind of pitching the story that, oh, maybe they're being moved, and Superman's on the record, blah 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 blah.
Yep.
So is what it is, and then we end the issue with Good, much like Leon at the start, gets the drone and the offer. And yeah, what was interesting about this though is when he makes the offer, he heavily implies that she doesn't really know her origin story. Like it's kind of a mystery to her, and he does know how she got her powers, and he would like to give her that knowledge.
Right.
And notably, it says next time Naomi, so I'm pretty pumped about that.
So we see this, red mist cloud kind of almost demonic creature. Do we think that's part of her origin, or do you think that's, like, is that her, like when she attains her, final form?
Maybe.
Or whatever?
I wonder if she's just like taking a scary form to try and because she's in defense mode because she doesn't trust Lex.
Yeah, that's what I couldn't get a beat on. I didn't know if that was her. I didn't know if that was like actually like her true or what. Like, what can she do? So I do like that. It's still giving, because I immediately thought like, oh, she's like a demon, and that's why she's able to take out Superman, because it's magic based.
Yeah.
No,
I
don't know. So, or if Lex had unlocked this, you know what I mean? That's part of the offer.
What makes the offer bits in this issue work for me is they both like tell us something new about the character. Because I think what's different to a lot of the other books is that the two characters that get the offer in this book are both new characters, and we're still learning a lot about them. And both of these scenes reveal some bits, about their character that we didn't necessarily know yet. And obviously, we knew Leon was secretive, but the idea that even if someone does find out who she is and tries to like build a bridge with her, she just she's disconnecting. She's going off the grid. She is going even deeper into hiding.
She's gone this far and done this good without help from Lex Luthor. Yeah. Of course, she's not going to say. Of course, she's not going to take the help. So, but yeah, no, I like that it broke from the formula of that too. That they weren't like, I didn't get to the offer at the end of this one and be like, oh, okay, another one of these, like I did in some of the other ones.
Absolutely, yeah. There was definitely other ones this week that I didn't like. There was one other book though I think that uses it in a decent way actually, and we'll get to that. But action's building up more of the Leviathan stuff, so it's obviously very heavily kind of tied into that, but it's still building up its own supporting cast, which is nice. And the art is pretty solid throughout, I thought.
The skill at which Bendis can juggle Event Leviathan, Year of the Villain, the stuff going on in Superman, Naomi, and it doesn't feel, at least to me, like it's weighing down the Action Comic story. Just again, it feels like a tapestry, and he's managing.
He's definitely done the thing where he's had two books of the same. In the past he's had Avengers and New Avengers. He's had all new X-Men and Uncanny X-Men. He's definitely done this before, where he's had like two books that are kind of very related. They're both kind of ultimately becoming one big story, but they're kind of separate for the meantime. And this is kind of doing that plus Event Leviathan, and then apparently Naomi is also going to tie in next issue. So, It's definitely his corner of DC right now, is the super corner.
Well, and then you look in the solicits about where you talk, what's coming up in Young Justice and how that goes back to what we saw in Superman.
And Legion as well, with Superboy.
Yeah. And now you're throwing Legion in there, and all of a sudden, and I know Connor doesn't like Bendis because he gets too Bendis-y, but I look at this and I can admire that skill.
I love just how miserable Connor is right now, because like Bendis has got his fingers in Young Justice with Bart, Connor, and Cassie. He's got Legion coming. Got Superman. Everything.
It
Superman.
hurts knowing he's given Tim a new origin / identity in like issue 8. I think it got pushed to issue 8, and I'm just like, great.
Well, here's the thing. As it stands right now, what is Tim's origin? Because the New 52 completely messed all that up.
Yeah, the New 52.
So
So I mean, if he's just reverting it to the classic origin, I'm fine with that. It's more just because they're giving him a new identity. Presumably not Red Robin anymore.
Right.
I don't know what they're doing.
Oh well, I still think you'd enjoy Naomi because it's the least of Bendis of these.
He'd hate the dialogue. He would look at that first couple of pages in issue 1 and hate it.
See, but that's the only one that it really does that though. Maybe issue 1 and issue 5, but the rest is pretty reined in. Feels like an indie book or an image book.
Connor's muting himself apparently because he just said something. No sound came out.
I thought you were done, so I just no. No, I said that's like a third of the book, issue 1 and issue 5 out of 6.
Shh. Just read it.
Oh no! I thought it was a solid issue of Action, but I've been enjoying it pretty consistently. So, yeah, we give it a Matt.
I'm giving it an 8.
Yeah, I'll also give it the solid straight 8. So there you go. That'll take us on to Wonder Woman issue 75. G. Willow Wilson writing with Xermanico and Jesus Merino on the art. This is obviously oversized anniversary issue, as all the 75s have been. And unlike Flash later, which does have kind of like segments, this is just one big. This is just the story.
Yeah, Flash 75 felt like an annual because of all the different segments.
Yeah.
This felt like just expand the story. And yeah, it's fine.
Oh, by the way, can I just mention this because I'm just closing down Action. This is relevant to all the books. It's just this checklist for Year of the Villain this month is insane. Like, piss off.
Yeah. Just before we actually carry on talk about Wonder Woman, there was a third artist as well.
Oh, was it?
Cifuentes.
Oh.
Okay.
That's how you say that. No idea.
Cifuentes, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So this is them basically training a little bit with Maggie to ultimately go into Themyscira because there is a portal in the sky leading back to Themyscira because the worlds are essentially spinning away from each other.
Yeah, so the way I thought about it was like a funnel cloud and a reverse funnel cloud, right? And they meet in the middle, right?
Sure.
Like, do you ever make those in science? The two bottles? And
I probably did.
Anyways.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. Anyways, just shows centrifugal force and whatnot.
Yeah. So eventually we see Grail. Grail has Themyscira. She has Hippolyta, kind of prisoner.
And a bunch of Amazons kind of going, yeah, sure, we'll follow you.
Yeah, who have sided with Grail, so there's some traitors in the midst. And Diana parties a little bit with the Amazon she meets in the Chi dimension. The Chi dimension, if Matt wants to correct me again.
I was waiting for it, I'm not going to
lie. Yeah. So there's some doubts. There's some training with Maggie, who's just kind of learning to fight for the first time. They acknowledge that it's kind of she has to go because she has the sword and the sword's bonded with her, but it is going to be dangerous, and who knows how this will go. So yeah, they kind of go in. The issue is actually way more straightforward, I think, than I was expecting for the return to Themyscira.
Yeah,
but I can appreciate that. There's no need to overcomplicate it just for the sake of it.
There's that, and it picks up on threads that I'm glad that it did. You know, the stuff with Grail and her still wanting to rule, because she's part dark side and that's her thing. And, it picks up on Izzy, Kale, and Diana. And, it's not just about her mom, as I almost forgot about that. Like, it's also, she promised Veronica she'd keep Izzy safe.
Yeah, and that's a really good part. That's probably my favorite part of the story, actually, is when Grail retreats to the cave and grabs Izzy as a shield and like threatens to kill her. Yep. It's a really dark moment, and it's like, oh shit, yes, Veronica's daughter. The stakes are heavy right now. Yep. So I like that it's bringing that stuff back from obviously Rucka's run, which is nice. And obviously Diana reuniting with her mother is pretty good too. I guess what I mean is I never thought that the return to Themyscira would just be something they casually do in the middle of an issue. I guess I always figured that there'd be an end of an issue at some point where, oh shit, she's back in Themyscira, cliffhanger. That's,
I think I know, I get that, and I think had this not been an oversized thing, that's probably what would have happened. But when you're doing these oversized, 75, I mean, when was the last time we were in Themyscira? I mean,
Rucka.
Year one, really.
Yeah.
So, well, I guess what I'm saying is that the actual trip to Themyscira, like it feels so easy, and I know they make it. I mean, it's not like there's a mistake. Like they set up a reason why they can get there. It feels like, oh yeah, that's just they're just hopping through a little portal. No big deal.
Yeah.
No, but
in having gone through a complete like dimension to get here to this
I
point,
know, I know.
and that.
They went through Tartarus, right? And then into Dimension Chi, and then from Dimension Chi, they found a hole in reality and got to Themyscira.
Yeah, I feel like they just go through a portal is kind of undermining the entire journey.
Well, no, because I'm just saying that the moment itself doesn't feel like that big of a deal when it feels like it should be a big deal.
But I feel like that's issue 75 is now, when you used to look in the back of Wizard and they would have like key issues listed. So this would be like Wonder Woman volume, whatever this is, 75, and it would be like Return to Themyscira, and that's what makes it a honestly, a notable issue. And I'm glad they stuck that landing here.
The page where she sees the portal and you can see Themyscira on the other side for the first time. I think that is played as a huge moment.
I mean, I like the issue a lot. I'm not trying to diss the issue. I'm just saying that I think the moment itself where it's just them coming into Themyscira, the moment itself doesn't feel as big as it felt like it should have been to me.
I hear Pete saying that it should be kind of event worthy.
This is the first time she's gotten back to Themyscira since she left, right, in her origin story.
Yeah, I think the moment you're wanting comes next issue. She doesn't even have time to process that right now. She's got to stop Grail.
No.
I think next time.
And I like, too, that Diana has Grail dead to rights, but, she lets her go so they can actually have this fight.
Oh, yeah, because,
she can defeat her.
Because as she's talking about in her narration, villains and people who don't have morals have an easier time fighting because they'll do anything to win. They don't have to. They're not bound by any kind of morals or anything like that.
That's such wrestling 101 too,
right?
Yeah. Like
healing
when you're watching and the heel's just doing, and then you're like, why don't you do anything? Well, because you can't. And yeah.
Joe, I think it is actually. Joe, I think would have made the moment feel better for me. I think the reason why it feels small to me at the moment where they come through is that the idea of Grail being in charge in Themyscira and having Hippolyta held prisoner is something that we just learned about last issue and only see for the first time this issue. I almost think we should have been seeing Grail's reign in Themyscira over a little bit of time, so that when Diana shows up with the army to save the day, it feels like a bigger deal. I don't
know. I feel like I prefer being with Diana here, because otherwise I would have felt like,
that's fine, Connor, but I'm going to side with Pete here in that instead of having that Dimension Chi issue that was just a nothing, give us a Grail issue.
I mean, honestly, should have just not had an issue there at all, really. That should have just been, we're skipping it.
No, but that would have been better, though. And I think, even if you're not going to do that, I think it should have just been a subplot. I think we should have been seeing Grail and Themyscira for the last arc and see just a reign of terror or whatever.
For me, I like more not seeing Themyscira until Diana does.
I get the thematic concept of doing that, and sometimes that works really well. I think the problem here, though, is that Diana's arrival in Themyscira is this big. She's here with the cavalry to save the day. So the perspective we're looking at this moment from is a moment where, oh shit, help has finally arrived, and it's going to stop Grail. But because we've not been with Grail, because we've not seen what she's been doing that's so awful, we've only just seen her briefly in this issue, it doesn't have the culmination effect that it otherwise would. It kind of feels like you said, the moment where Diana sees the portal is kind of the biggest moment for her, realizing that she's going to get to go back. But because of that, it deflates this moment because it's not the big arrival that it feels like it should be to me.
I mean, sure. I think it's fine because we do. For me, it's fine because we do get the moment where she sees it. Seeing it's within reach. It's not going to be hard to get home now. That is the moment where it's like, oh, she's back. Essentially, it is. That's the way this issue plays that, because for her, it's like it's right there. That's it. All this time, and she's there now. Essentially, even though she's not physically set foot there, in her head, she's already there. Because...
Like I said, though, I think it's a combination. I think it's a combination of not really feeling the threat on Themyscira initially that much. So the actual cavalry coming through doesn't feel like a big moment. So you combine that with it not being like a big moment that she's back in Themyscira on its own. It feels a little bit deflated to me in the moment. I was reading that, obviously I'm enjoying the comic. I think the comic's well written, and I'm liking all the character beats and the action beats. All the action scenes look great. I just had that feeling during the fight in Themyscira when they're all fighting each other and whatnot, where I'm like, that just feels like the next casual plot. It doesn't feel like it feels like the moment she returns to Themyscira should be one of the the tent poles, you know, of the whole run. The one of the benchmark things where you know there's before she returned to Themyscira and there's after she returned to Themyscira. It didn't really feel like that in this show. It just kind of felt like, yeah, this is just the casual next part of the plot.
No, fair enough. Like, for me, the moment where she sees it, and then also the moment at the end as well, where fighting's finished, it's done, and she has the moment with her mother. Where she sees
nice.
that moment, that full page.
Yeah, the moment the mother's good.
That because it's not about, okay, you know. It just says she maybe she was on Themyscira, but she wasn't home while it was still occupied by a foreign force. You know, with Grail, it was just, okay. Now that's the moment where she's home. Is that final moment?
Well, and I like too. They have Philippus looking on with Izzy, right?
Yeah.
So that's real cool. Also, we get this sword too that's going to become important that Grail has, and it's called God Killer, which I was like. Couldn't you just name it Godslayer? Like, that's a much better name.
Yeah, which of course, the offer at the end. Well, I wouldn't count this as one of the offer stuff that's done well. At least this one has more context because they set up this sword during the issue. So when Cheetah gets it at the end, it's like, oh, okay.
Oh, that's where it went.
Yeah. So Cheetah's going to be using it. Okay.
Which I thought too. I go, that's weird. As it was going on, I was like, her sword just disappears. I was like, oh, maybe this is the gods.
It wasn't mentioned again. It was like
right, and I thought, oh, maybe this is the gods intervening. Like now that Diana's back on Themyscira, you know, that's righted certain things because we've seen Ares, right, and Aphrodite, and then no, Luther made it disappear because he's all powerful now as Apex Lex. So it's a little annoying.
Obviously, I think the Hippolyta hug at the end is probably the biggest moment of the book. It's the emotional payoff that works really well.
I think the panel before actually works best for me when she's finally got the moment and she starts to cry.
So and again, otherwise still like I'm being I actually think this issue is really good. I think there's just a feeling of it's not as big as it feels like it should be in a weird way, in terms of like feeling like a major story beat, you know, kind of like I'm trying to think of a comparable beat in another arc that I can say that's, you know, that thing. And I can't think of one, so I'll leave it. But they definitely exist.
Okay.
They definitely exist.
This is definitely more of the stuff that I like. Plus, we're getting Cheetah back. So.
Oh yeah, I'm always pumped for Cheetah. Wilson's not really done much with Cheetah yet, right? This is the first time she's popped up in the book, I think.
First time we're really seeing Barbara Ann. She's been palling around with Luther.
Yeah, she's off in Justice League and whatnot. Yeah. No, that show was solid. That show was good. I've been liking Wilson's run. I don't think I've liked anything yet as much as the first arc, admittedly, but it's still been really solid. So, no.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where it's going now that she's been back. Now we gotta get the gods. What's been going on there? There's still some mysteries going. You know, like, why were the Titans? We still haven't gotten to the end of that because we had the Atlantiades.
Oh, I did really like that 2 or 3 issue Titans thing with Giganta. I really like that arc.
All that's still there, and you know, we also got Atlantiades here, you know, in full Amazonian armor, right?
Yeah,
and she comes and pacifies them, which is pretty
cool. They're using the power, you know, with the blinding white light. It's kind of fantastic.
Yeah. So it was that was pretty cool, and Wilson definitely, this isn't like, I don't even feel like this is the halfway point of what she's doing. So
oh no, not at all. This still feels like we're cleaning up threads from previous things. She's not really started her own thing yet.
Yeah, I feel like reestablishing Themyscira in some way is going to be the kind of what the point of this run might be, actually, and that's just about to start after we get done with this arc.
Yeah,
probably.
I feel like okay, we're doing Cheetah next. Which almost feels like that'll probably be the start of one of her own plots, if that makes sense. You know, introducing something that she can do herself rather than just, okay, we're picking up Themyscira, we're doing those things.
Yeah. So no, 75, really solid. So Matt, what are you giving it?
I'm gonna 7.5.
All right, Connor.
I'm gonna go with an 8. I will say it would have been an 8.5 if the art had been more consistent. I did feel the shifting artists.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with Matt and go with 7.5. I like the issue quite a bit, but it is lacking a little bit of the punch, I thought, in places. So, no, I'm looking forward to what's next, though. I think the run's been really exciting at times, and looking forward. Still one of the ones I'm looking forward to the most every month, though, as well. So,
as long as Orlando's not writing it, right?
Because as long as Orlando's not writing it. Which takes us out of the Flash 75, also obviously a supersized issue. Joshua Williamson writing with Howard Porter, Scott Kolins, and Kristen Duce on the art, and they're all separated by segments, so it's not like it's shifting back and forth, right like that.
Hey guys,
Mm-hmm.
we're done with year one.
We are.
We're done with year one.
You know what's really funny is the year one trade is cutting out most of the back half of this issue.
Oh, easy. Here's the other thing. Remember when we introduced to year one? And we were told, like, this new guy, Steadfast, all would be revealed in year one.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets relegated to a backup that doesn't basically mean anything.
Nothing was revealed in this.
Yeah, I think they'll keep that part in the trade because I think they want that final page, the splash page of him talking about being the Flash and all the family behind him. They're going to keep that, but the Captain Cold thing at the end, that'll be gone.
Honestly, that like 2 pages or whatever it is with Steadfast is after that splash page. So I don't think that's there either. I think that splash page is the final thing of the trade. There might be like a trade of just Williamson's volume 8 or whatever it's on. That'll have the full issue in. But the one that they label Flash Year 1 hardcover, that's ending on that splash page.
So, I'm a sucker for the emotional spectrum in John's Green Lantern. Like, I really like that, and I know a lot of people had issues with it. And that's what I was thinking about the forces with Williamson. I'm done with this. I don't want to see them.
They're just not as interested, are they?
No, it's leave the Speed Force alone, man. Just let it
Well, you're gonna love the next arc, Matt, because the next arc is called The Death of the Speed Force.
I know. I don't like it. I don't like it. I didn't like on that splash page. There were some characters missing, and I understand why, but I still don't like it.
I'm not going to lie. I think the thing that upset me the most in this issue was the after the crisis is over and it's like shifted ahead. It's shifted ahead to like after Flash Day or whatever. And there's not really. I don't know if there's a clear indication of how much time has passed, but
no. I would say at least a year because I assume Flash Day was the day he saved the city. So this is the anniversary.
That makes some sense. And they redo him meeting Wally for the first time. And Wallace. Wallace is there too. They've got
some ugly art. I'm sorry, but the kids
look
just wrong. Like, I don't understand the sizes.
It's JR syndrome, right? Where the kids are overly caricaturized, And
here's the thing: is that it doesn't actually. Outside of the fact that Wallace is also there, it's not that different actually. What you get here from actual, Wally's year one story, right? So there's nothing upsetting here in the sense of like them changing things or that's not why I'm upset about it. I'm upset about it because it just feels like they're tugging on some Wally like heartstrings here, and all it just made me cynical, and it made me cynical that when what's his name? Steadfast. I have to think of his name.
Yeah.
When he like we come back to him and he's like, oh yeah, she'd forgotten all this shit. It was wiped from time. I'm like, wait, so is this like New 52 wiped it from time? Flashpoint did this, or is this some other reason that he doesn't remember this?
A Manhattan wipe it from time?
Yeah.
I don't know because I'm confused by even the splash page. Like Jay Garrick's on there, but as of right now.
He's
even within this origin story of year one, he was a comics character on a different Earth, right?
And if that's the case, then and we're using purely hypothetical people, where's Jay and Irie?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Right? If it's a free for all, not everyone on the flat splash page is existing yet. Because
you also have Johnny Quick, who you can't have Jesse Quick without Johnny Quick. Because Johnny Quick was also a Justice Society member.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Max Mercury.
Primarily. If anything, what upsets me about that more, though, is the idea that we're saying that this is the canon origin now is all this shit with the time travel and the turtle. This is the origin that got erased by Flashpoint.
Yeah. I am going to throw down a gauntlet and go, this isn't my Flash origin. And you can't tell me that it is, Williamson. I love you, dude. You're a nice guy. I love most of what you've done. I don't like
you
this.
called it wrong on this one.
Yeah. I hated this year one. I like everything with Turtle in the first chunk, and Barry like taking everyone in the city 3 seconds into the future to like escape Turtle's power. Like
a little bit too much.
It's just
what
it's
for
just too
me
much.
is there's a point where Turtle goes, "Oh, so you've come back and faced me." In every other timeline, you run away. What? Surely, from
how do
his
you know this,
perspective,
Turtle?
this is just the time he does this.
And also with the whole paradox thing, we're getting into timey-wimey. None of this happened. Therefore, Wally, this whole story should not happen. This should all be a time remnant. And if we're going that way, cool. But as it stands now, for Barry to experience all the stuff with Turtle, all the other future has to happen. But from what happens here, it gets wiped out.
Oh yeah,
you see everything fade away back to the future style.
Yeah, Matt. I mean, I wouldn't worry too much about this. This is just like typical time travel story.
No, but I think Matt's not, because Flash does have time remnants as a thing that we can use to do this.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I know that this is confusing in the sense that no, like this was how things happened originally, and he changed it, and things faded away, and then DC continuity played out from there as we understand it, right? I don't like the idea that this was the Flash's origins, though. I don't like that it glossed over things that makes. I don't like the fact that he's taking everyone in the city 3 seconds into the future at the end of his origin story. Like that is just too powerful. Like the Flash is a very powerful character, and obviously, like by the time we get to him being experienced, he's doing all these crazy things with time travel and whatnot. Like year one, have him be an amateur, have him not like that was the thing. Remember we were talking about in issue 2, he was already phasing through things. I'm like, no, he shouldn't be doing that like until maybe the end of a year one story.
Do you know there's a point in this issue where he talks about he was scared of the shaking, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so that's the thing. Okay. You finally learn how to vibrate and phase, and that's your big moment for the end of an origin, which is a perfectly fine ending of an origin, big enough, power. Right.
Yeah.
But also, I thought that was going to tie back to what he taught Avery, right? And that was a whole thread throughout the early part of the run. And it's not even addressed whatsoever, him dealing with his nerves.
I think this is one of the things that bugs me sometimes with comic books, and it's a problem the storytelling has with a lot of writers, and this is what bugs me with Scott Snyder, is that everything has to be the biggest thing ever. And it's like, how does he end this fight with Turtle in his year one story? Oh, it's this big, ridiculous, over the top thing where he takes everyone in the future.
Is at least normally I can understand, there's a progression, so it has to be bigger than the last thing, right?
So
I can understand why that works in their heads, but this is by its concept, this is earlier in the timeline, so it does not have to be as big.
So here's my thing. Batman Year One, the main villains are Falcone, right?
Yes.
Remind me.
It's Falcone and I don't know if Maroni's in the first book, but yeah.
Okay. Right. And who's the villain in Batgirl Year One? Because I've never read that one.
I want to say it was Killer Moth.
Okay.
That sounds like it might be right, yeah.
So you want to kind of lay the groundwork for who these villains are going to be. So you're going to do a year one, but you're going to basically throw in and Turtle's been around, but he's not like...
Yeah.
You don't think of the Turtle when it comes to Flash.
Which, on paper, sounds like a fine villain for a year one. Before he gets to Cold, before he gets to Reverse Flash or whoever.
Right.
He fights the Turtle, sure.
But then, like, as you said, you up everything by 10, and you make Turtle, like... They put him... at the level that he's an arch.
Yeah, they make Turtle have be the king of a post-apocalyptic turtle fueled wasteland.
How is Captain Cold a threat after this?
Right, and that's my whole point. We don't even get to see any we see a little bit of Cold in the Rogues, but give us Proto Cold. Him trying to do a whole Cold thing because of the Flash. Give us a little bit of that.
This is definitely the worst year one that I have read. Anyone that's telling me about Superman.
Go read Superman Year One, Connor, and get back to us on that.
I've read Batman, Batgirl, Robin, Justice League, Green Arrow.
Right, and isn't the villain in Justice League Year One? It culminates with Starro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you.
That was I think that's sort of like a 12-issue thing.
Yeah, and
that's levels of difficulty.
If you compare it to different year ones and stuff, so Batman Year One, he's taking on organized crime. He's not taking on any masked villains or anything like that. Not really. And it ends with the tease that the Joker's now a thing, right? And that obviously ties into Batman's whole thing, where is he partly responsible for villains up in the ante because he exists, right? Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Green Arrows is on the island, and he's with China White.
Yep, China White. Yeah. Oh god, that's my favorite year one, by the way.
That's real good.
And again, like she's like an international crime boss kind of like character.
Yeah. But it's not like a huge thing. Like it's like he's accidentally stumbled into where she's growing all the drugs
by fate. Like this is his fate is to become Green Arrow through stopping China White, and but here they made Turtle too powerful, and I don't care about by doing that. I don't care about these forces. I want to ignore them. And I'm fine with just the Speed Force. I don't need the strength. I don't need the mind or whatever it was called.
And I hate Barry meeting older Barry, like in a year one story as well. Especially since like a big part of like Barry's backstory now, ever since this was introduced, is the idea that his mother was killed, and obviously we know it's going to eventually be Reverse Flash that's found out.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that has to be the story in year one. That can be something that he's clearly obsessed with, but
it's not even part of the motivation.
It's not. No.
Yeah, I love that when Johns redid his origin and he gave him the mom issue, that's why he became a police scientist. Right? Is he knows in his heart his dad's not responsible,
and he wants
to exonerate him.
Yeah.
And I like that's
seeing this issue when he mentions his dad's behind bars and there's like one panel of his dad in prison. I went, that feels so jarring putting this in this one. Like, like it's not even been a mention.
Obviously we mentioned the previous issues, but I really hate how all of his lessons he just learns from future version of himself.
Oh yeah, I hate that.
The big thing at the end where it's like, how do I do this? Oh, slide into it. Oh yeah, that's what future me said. And it's played as such a big hero moment. He's got the pose. He's got it right. It's like, you can't just tell yourself these things. I mean, you have to learn that for yourself.
There's another way to do it that you have Iris teach him that by accident.
Sure.
About you got to ease into things, Barry. You can't just rush head in.
And then very literally, old version of him went, just slide into it, mate. You'll be fine.
Part of the fun of an origin story is the character learning to use their powers and making the mistakes they're going to make and basically problem solving. It's like, okay, I've got these powers, how do I use this? In Superman origin stories, part of the fun of seeing young Superman get some of the powers for the first time is like, wait, how do I not trigger X-ray vision when my parents are standing there? Because, for the love of all things, I do not want to see that. Like, simple little fun things like that. Like, how does the Flash stop without burning his shoes, or does he need special shoes? And that may sound like okay, but surely that's something that's been explored before. It has been, but if you're going to do a year one, you want to see the modern telling of going through those beats. That's what you want from an origin story. Matt, your mic's going, and this story is obsessed with just throwing these different things in there, and it's everything that's actually part of the origin story feels like an afterthought. It feels like it's just in there because it needs to be sprinkled in there somewhere.
Yeah, this is a 0 year.
Yes, this is
not a year one.
That is what I'd compare it to, a 0 year.
Yep, and I don't like it. And here's the thing: I like part of 0 year. I like the beginning of 0 year.
All the Riddler stuff at the start.
No. I mean, back before he was it was what was it? It was the Secret City stuff where it basically was doing year one, but through Snyder's,
Okay, yeah.
Where we get Yes, Father, I'll become the Bat, and you have the Red Hood running around.
I don't hate 0 year as much as you two do.
Mm-hmm.
Still not my go-to origin though for Batman.
No.
Yeah, it feels
year one.
It feels tacked on. It feels shoehorned in, and we were just talking about year ones. I feel like even Secret Origins, which this arguably is supposed to feel like, because the whole idea is that he's forgotten something and he's going to remember it. But even Superman's Secret Origin, I still think plays as a pretty solid year one,
Yeah.
I can't wait till later on when we're talking about Dilate for Hero.
I know.
And we're going to talk about some Secret Origins.
We are.
And I feel like Williamson could have read that issue first before he wrote this story.
Okay, so we all didn't like this part, right? But the next part, god damn, I just got a calf cramp.
The next part, I'm not looking forward to at the minute either, because forces and
Flash builds his Flash Museum. He gives all the construction workers
what I was talking about.
time off.
Yeah.
What were you talking about?
I was getting to the cold stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's the last part. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say really. He's just like, oh yeah, I've helped building the museum, and Commander Cole's there, and they're going to do stuff. Okay, great.
And he's like, wait, this was all just a day?
What I thought was funny is that the Captain Cold stuff at the end is basically that one-page offer thing that all the other books have. He gives it a whole like sort of little mini story, build it up to it.
Okay, so this goes out to the people that are listening and watching. Has Cold been a character in Suicide Squad? Because if so, I might want to check some of that out.
I feel like he probably has. That feels like likely.
Yeah.
I will say I am digging the grizzled bearded Cold.
Yeah,
that's the weird thing. I actually probably enjoyed a chunk of this Cold stuff the most out of the issue, just because it felt like traditional Captain Cold, miserable asshole, like talking about the rogues.
And so I like basically, if this was a movie, this would have been a smash cut. It's him describing the rogues and how they're a family, and like, well, the wizard's volatile, but when you need some extra firepower, count on him. Golden Glider, she's my sister, of course, you know. Mirror Master, self-centered, but always has your back. Heatwave, brother from another mother, loves fire as much as I love cold, which is terrifying when you think about it, right? And you could tell he loves the rogues, right? They are a family. They are the counterbalance of the Flash family. And then you smash cut to the next page, and it's on the Suicide Squad, and he's basically the only one left standing. And it's such a great story point that Cold likes to think of himself as a loner, but he's not, right?
Yeah, he's only, well, I mean, I think the actual offer part when Lex, drone shows up is the worst part of this. That said, I do like the idea that when he makes him the offer, he says, well, only if the rogues get included. Like, I'm not doing this alone. I do like that aspect of it.
Yeah. So, and I am looking forward to that story well enough, don't get me wrong. It's all the other stuff that's going to be around it that I'm not particularly enthusiastic about coming up.
Yeah. So, but I really enjoyed this Captain Cold part, like, and it talked about their time together in the Justice League, which I liked.
Yeah, that was a nice touch.
That was when Cold was the head of Lexus Security.
He talked about, hey, we both tried to do something else, and we were wrong to try that, and we both kind of come to that conclusion.
Yep, and so no, I enjoyed all this, but as for the offer, again, it hit the formula, but not really. It wasn't as good as Bendis' stuff, but I still prefer it to everything else.
It didn't it didn't. I mean, I wasn't talking about this book when I said another book that kind of interesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because for me, this was just like he's extended it because he's the page count up, and ultimately what most of it is just like a little Captain Cold like character study, which we've seen done better before. John's had the big Captain Cold issue in his run and so on. Like, it felt like it was like touching on some of those points, and that's fine. But it felt just more like traditional Captain Cold, and I kind of liked that for a few pages before it got to the point. But yeah, that is Flash 75. We're all thankful year one's over. We did not enjoy year one, and we enjoy this run. Like for the for like 60 plus issues.
Yeah,
like it's not always been perfect.
No.
I've had complaints here or there. None of it has been as bad as this.
Nope.
I really hope it's back on form. I really do.
I do too. I hope this was just a slump and not a sign of things to come.
Yeah, I really hope so. So yeah, are we rating them at?
So I was going to go low, even for me, right? But then the Captain Cold story picks it up at the end, so I'm gonna give this a 5.
Yeah, that seems fair. Connor?
I'm actually agreeing with that. It would have been lower, but the Cold story was decent enough. So yeah. Yeah, I'll make it a 555. I think as much as I don't like the justification or the build up to the big splash page, the splash page itself is quite nice.
Yeah, I was going to say, I love that. As a Flash fan, that speaks to me. And you throw Avery in there, but if you're going to have Jay Garrick, if you're going to have both Jesse Quicks, throw an Irie and Jay in there. Like, it's a Speed Force. And what are the rules of Speed Force, Pete?
Never get lost on it.
Well, and also Speed Force Bro.
That's Speed Force
I
Bro.
have to explain shit.
I have to explain shit, yeah. Do you know what's weird about it though? Is I feel like there wasn't enough story in the issue to actually cover the extended page count, and obviously part of that's made up by extending the offer to its own little story. But I felt like there was extra fan service in this issue just to make up the page count. Like it was like,
which
I'm a little bit grateful for, because I realized earlier in the week that 75, it's a double. There's more of year one than I thought.
Well, I read Wonder Woman before, and then I got to this, and I went, "Oh no, is this just gonna be a lot of year zero?" It's not calling it year one anymore.
There was a disappointing moment though, where I realized that he'd beat the turtle, and I checked what page it was on, and I wasn't even halfway through the book, and I went, "Oh, you're kidding me! I thought I was done."
So I got a nice surprise when it was extra stories. You get Scott Kolins in there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
All right. Yeah. 5 out of 10 all around then. And that'll take us out to Batgirl issue 37. Interesting one, this, because it's the start of a new run. This is Cecil Castellucci writing with Carmine di Giandomenico on the art. And to my surprise...
you haven't had to say that name in a while, have you?
It's been a while. And to my surprise, we're picking up on the Terrible Trio stuff. And I was confused for a second, and I'm glad that they clarified it in page 2, that the shark is a new dude, because he replaced the old one. And I was like, okay, that's neat. I like that. All right.
Yeah.
I was like, didn't he die? Last issue?
Yeah, he sacrificed himself.
Yeah,
that first page, I was like, am I misremembering the last issue? And then I was like, no, I'm fine.
But then I also thought it was like, maybe there was a little bit of breakdown between the writers, and they, Castellucci just threw Shark in there.
I don't think so. I think if she wanted to keep using the trio, I think the idea is, we have to replace Shark. So I like the idea that they replace him. Because he's dead, the other two are like, okay.
So, Fox's second cousin.
It's Fox's second cousin,
Which I thought was kind of funny.
Who can we get?
Yeah,
it's good.
Who's dumb and strong?
So actually, the reason why this is the other one I was talking about when I was saying that I like how it incorporates the offer to an extent, because I loved it when Batgirl's fight, because the bulk of this middle part of this issue is Batgirl fighting Killer Moth, but Killer Moth's whole motivation here, right? So the fight's fun because he's got all this new tech, he's much more high tech than usual, and Batgirl's realizing that she's actually kind of struggling to fight him. But what I liked about it is when we find out the reason why he's doing this, why he's spent so much money, everything he can afford on this higher tech stuff, is because he's disappointed that he's not received an offer. And I thought, you know what? That is the best any writer's integrated this into the story.
And I think it goes for both sides, because the subplot, which made sense while we were reading it, right? Okay, it's the trio. We're picking up on that, carrying on. We're just following more of their stuff. And then you get to the end and go, oh shit, their plot is the offer.
Yeah. Because they've found this weird lab in a cave or something, and they're investigating
it. Doesn't make sense why it's there. But man, so I hope it was intentional. But the Killer Moth dialogue was killing me. I really hated him.
Oh yeah, no, that was great. I actually, honestly, my thoughts on this issue, obviously being from a new writer, is I actually really liked it, because see the opening scene when it's just the trio and they're going into the lab.
Right.
I love those, because sometimes when you start off in the villains, and especially when it's like their interaction with each other was cracking me up, and it was the first really positive sign where I was like, oh, I think I actually really like Castellucci as a writer. I think I like her dialogue a lot.
And then I got to the Killer Moth stuff, and I was like, oh man, he's just. And then I'm like, I hope this is intentional, because it didn't match anything else in the issue. Because I think that Castellucci's voice for Babs, one issue in, is pretty good. There's a lot of self-doubt there.
Yeah.
Coming off of where we left her in the last issue, having to rebuild. So
everything with the trio, and them debating, should we go in here, and then Shark just punching it, and the back and forth of should we do this, should we not do this, what are we here for, blah blah blah. And then finding this robot, and the robot's password, what is the password?
Just try 4 zeros. That's always the default things.
I enjoy spending time with these characters, and I think that was a really good sign out. And obviously I like the Bab stuff as well, and artwork's very colourful.
Belair's doing a fantastic job with the colours, and the distinct difference between the stuff in the lab, the greys and the blues, compared to the bright oranges of the clubs.
What I like though is that the interest of colour green when we get to the robot, and what I like about that is that it's a lab up until that point, it's all blues and greys as you say, but you get to the robot and then there's these bright greens from the body sort of get incorporated, and what I like about that is that it's that's what tells you, okay, we're going into sci-fi. It's all been really cold and kind of clinical, but now there's sci-fi because there's bright green mixed in with that. But you get the bright, colourful fight, and the fighting looks good. I think the dialogue and the narration from Babs is pretty good. I think
my only problem with the colours here is occasionally it's actually a little too bright. The sky looks like a really light blue, but I can see the street lights are on.
Okay, sure.
There are just a few points like that.
But what I like about this is that Babs is like, all right, it's Killer Moth. I'll be done with this in 5 minutes, you know. And I think I even mentioned it. We mentioned earlier that he was kind of the villain in year one. He was one of the villains at least in year one.
Yeah, and you know, it kind of is calling back to that, the idea that this should be easy. I mean, it was hard then, but you know, she's moved beyond that.
Yeah, I don't know, but also I like the Jason Bard stuff. I like that he's becoming a supporting character, and he was holding out. He had tickets. He wanted to take Babs.
Yeah, I actually laughed a lot. Again, this is just showing Castellucci's like knack for dialogue. Is like the other two like talking about how he's clearly got a thing for Babs, and he's like, "Don't be ridiculous." And then it's like a few songs later, and he's just kind of drunkenly, "Oh God, I've got a thing for Barbara Gordon." Like it made me laugh. I actually got a chuckle out of it.
Yeah.
So that was all fun, and then the offer comes through for Oracle, not the trio, which I liked.
No, the robot's Oracle. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, for the Oracle robot. So, which I like as an idea. I'm always a fan of you know, Whedon did it in Astonishing, of the Danger Room coming to life and being sentient and then getting that body.
Yeah.
So I love the idea of the sentient robot villain.
Yeah, no, I'm into that. I like that we still have the trio, we still have the supporting cast from the previous one, but we're also introducing this robotic Oracle as a whole new element. And we should mention as well, Bab's part of the story ends with her like plummeting seemingly to her death. You know, we do end in a cliffhanger there before we come back to the robot.
Yeah.
But yeah, really neat. I am very like I was enjoying the previous one, but I'm actually feeling very optimistic after this first issue of this one.
Batgirl has maybe been one of the most consistent books of Rebirth.
It's been varying degrees of good.
Yeah, which is great given that, you know, we had 2 runs and this is the start of our 3rd proper run in the book, and I'm actually feeling really positive where I'm like, this may actually end up being better than the last one. Like, you know, looking at this first issue, the art's definitely better. I'll say that first most. The art is head and shoulders above.
Giandomenico, and it seems cleaned up from Flash too. Like it's almost a different style.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Because I didn't necessarily recognize it was Giandomenico at first, because it looked cleaner than I was expecting.
I think the stuff with Babs, I can see it a lot clearer. All the stuff with the trio, I think looks very different.
But good, different, not bad.
I'm always a fan when an artist does that, when they change up their style, when they change books. So like Giandomenico's Flash looks like Giandomenico's Flash.
Still some of the best work in years.
Yeah. Oh, easy. So, and now his Batgirl looks like Batgirl. I like his Gotham, which we've seen him. What did he? Did he do parts of the cost or the price?
I don't think so.
Maybe it was something in metal. One of the tie-in.
Yeah,
because he's been in Gotham before, and
Did he do the Red Death?
Yeah, I could see that would have been him maybe because of these Flash ties. I could. Yeah.
But
no, I'm feeling really good about this. I'm looking forward to the next issue now, because, you know, I wasn't not looking forward to this one, but it was that sort of unknown quantity where I'm like, oh, I mean, I don't know how.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I can recall us reading from Castellucci before was the first issue of Shade, the Changing Girl.
No. She did the New Gods one that Matt read a few lines of.
Oh, of course, yes.
It got a little too real life, and I was like, this is making me feel bad.
Which, if I recall correctly, my opinion of that issue was that I thought it was actually very well written. It's just that the concept went a bit too meta and a bit too.
Yeah, but obviously this is Batgirl, so tone it down, and it's ongoing DC continuity and not just a random mini. I'm
feeling good about this. So.
Yeah, me too.
No, I'm very happy with this. Matt, what are you giving it?
I'm gonna give this an 8.
Connor,
I really enjoyed it.
I'll give it an 8.5.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna go for a 9. I really like this issue. I was really into it. I think the fact that I was like so heavily into just a trio bantering with each other before I even got to Batgirl was just really impressive to me.
Giandomenico did an issue of Detective Comics and knew he was in Gotham somewhere.
There you go.
It was Detective 992, Detective 993.
That was the Firefly stuff.
I believe so.
Because I remember it now.
Sounds about right.
Batgirl 38, that was the new one. Yeah. Justice League Odyssey 6, that's another one where he popped up.
I don't think I got that far.
Yeah, alright. So, Batgirl seemingly survives another creator transition. Very impressive. Yep. Which will take us on to Justice League Dark, issue 13. James Tynion the 4th, writing with Mark Buckingham on the art. All right.
There's a couple of artists actually.
Oh, there you go.
And Samper, I believe, was the other one off the top of my head.
And what's cool, this isn't one where they use the multiple artists effectively, because we get the new origin, not the new. I'll say new to me. I didn't realize this was Dr. Fate's origin.
Yeah.
The stuff with the dad and him being a kid, and he's basically Shazam.
He's not the only Fate to have been aged up immediately either.
Yep. Nope. And so I didn't realize that was a thing of Fate. And I like that. And what does that mean for Kit Nelson, with his wife and whatnot? He never got a childhood.
No, exactly. So we should mention the reason the art works is because it's split into chapters. So the first one is the last Lord of Order. It's about it's like I was saying there, it's Fate's origin. It's it's a young child, Kent Nelson and his father going into on an exploration.
Yep.
And then Naboo kind of talking to Kent and kind of tricking him into killing his father.
Yeah, with this poison gas trap from this Egyptian tomb, and then basically manipulating him because to take the helmet of fate. It's almost like, okay, so this dude's been bad from the start.
Yeah, he kind of blasts all the knowledge into his head, changes his body into that of an adult, but also his mind.
Peak human.
Peak human. It's the best he would ever be, and also it evolves his mind to that point. Also, he hasn't still got it's not like Shazam where he's still got the mind of the kid. He is in every aspect of the word adult.
An adult.
Yeah.
So, but the Mark Buckingham, it's a very pulpy style,
gorgeously clean, fantastic coloring work as well from Adriano Lucas.
Yep. So, and then we get them, in modern times, whereas Kent's like, I don't want to put the helm back on.
I can't ever do this again. I don't trust myself.
And I don't trust Naboo because it's been a manipulation from the start.
Yeah.
And you find out that to release himself from wherever he was, he kind of drug Kent's dad along. It was all a sacrifice to do this. And you're just like, oh man, his version of Order does suck.
Yeah.
When you look, and that's what I'm liking what Tynion's doing with magic is there's not really dark magic or light magic. It's all into how you use it.
Absolutely.
Right?
And
magic is neutral. And same with Order and Chaos is you can use Order for evil and you can use Chaos.
There's kind of always been an assumption that Order was the good one, but that's just not clearly not true.
And that goes through the thread in one of the other stories where we get Constantine.
We should mention before we move on, Ken offers to stay and advise Khalid on being the new Fate, but even he's not too sure about it. He's like, well, maybe in a few years. I don't know if I'm ready for that.
That's what I was going to get back into because you have a lot of doubt over these characters in the Justice League Dark because of what's coming.
Yeah, and
through Zatanna, Constantine, Khalid, Kent, even Diana.
Yeah, no one is wearing the helmet at the end of this story. Nope. It's not like definitively this is who Fate is. It's kind of left open for now.
Yep. And then we get to the second part in the Oblivion Bar, which is Secrets and Origins. And this is where Saint Pierre comes in. And it's Zatanna. Yeah. It's a lot darker. So Connor was talking about the clean lines and the colors in the first part with Buckingham. But the Saint Pierre stuff is almost the polar opposite, where it's dark and moody, and you can kind of feel the smokiness of the bar.
I love the way the colors. Who's the colors in this one? Joan Albara.
Yep.
Plays with the lighting because they've got the hanging spotlights that you get in a bar, and the way they kind of reflect off the bottle that Constantine's drinking. So it looks great.
Yep. And so you have Constantine doubting himself, much like Kent was, but in a different way, because you find out like Zatanna and Constantine have this relationship because of her dad, because he kind of saw all of this stuff coming and wanted to prepare these two.
Yeah, he kind of recruited Constantine to be able to do these shittier things.
And that because you need balance. So Zatanna will be, she's going to do what the family should do.
She's the order to his chaos.
Right, exactly. And Constantine he feels like he's been flim-flammed, which that's usually him doing to other people. Yeah. And he doesn't like that. He feels like he's been used by, the great and noble Zatara because you get to see. And I don't know. So you're the Constantine guy.
Yep.
Is this his origin?
Yes.
Of the exorcism.
Yeah. This art here, you know, where they go to the Casanova Club in Newcastle.
Yep.
Holy crap, that art is fantastic. That looks so much like the original stuff back in like early Hellblazer, like 10 or 12, something like that, around that range. It looks straight out of that.
Well, because the colors get muted. It looks like an old comic.
I want to say as well, Buckingham, I believe, actually inked that issue.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, so there's that weird connective continuity, which is really cool.
Because I went back and I picked up the Tales of the New Teen Titans, which serves as the origin for Cyborg, Beast Boy, Raven, and Starfire. Because I feel, being a fan of those characters, I need to read the origins.
Yeah.
It's kind of tough because the comics are a little bit different. Structured now. But this art looks like it was pulled from that era.
It's straight out of the 80s. Yeah, it looks fantastic.
So I got to this page and I'd been reading the Cyborg book earlier in the week. And I was like, oh man, look at this. So that's why I had to ask if this was his actual, or if Tynion.
I think Tynion may have actually tweeted a comparison of this versus the original art. So if you want to go and check that out, go look at his Twitter. Worth looking at.
But yeah, so at the end of this, this is a whole issue where nothing really happens. But I think the thing that Tynion he revels in, because it does move a lot of the story pieces forward here. And now you have this Justice League that was formed to bump back against the dark, right?
Yeah.
To now they're just like, I don't know what we're bumping back against.
This is the issue that Pete always wants. Okay, everything's done. Let's just sit down and wallow in pity of ourselves, kind of, essentially. Nothing happens. No,
but everything happens at the same time.
Nothing plot-wise.
No. So you have on one side you have Diana and Khalid and Kent. They're doubting of, like, do we even need a fate? Like, this has been more problem than it's worth. But they all kind of agree at the end that someone's gonna have to wear the helm.
Yeah, and they're supposed to be the Justice League representing magic, yet they've only got one magician on the team in Zatanna. They need another high profile one to give them legitimacy, even aside from the actual fighting the threats, just on a PR level amongst the community.
Right. So, and then on the other side you have Zatanna, who she's going to doubt herself because all this stuff that's been put in motion by her father. And you have Constantine being like, is their whole relationship even, is it even real? Yeah. Because it's all been manipulated from the start. And there's just the whole vibe of manipulation in this issue, from Naboo to the Nelsons, to even, we kind of skipped over it, Kent feeling bad about his wife being kept up in the Tower of Fate, because if she ever left the tower, she might not ever be able to get back.
Yeah, and the idea that she felt obligated to stay with Kent because she felt like she was his last link to humanity, and if she left him, what would fate do to Kent now? What would there be anything of Kent left?
And so I thought about this in the whole. Tynion has basically turned this in, and it might just because I miss Shazam and that whole thing, because it hasn't been the most consistent book. But how Johns has turned the power of Shazam into a family thing, right?
Yeah.
They can all count on each other. And you had the wizard looking, to fill the 7 seats. And now you have Naboo just being like, nah, I don't believe in all this. I need order, and it's just me. And I don't even care if it's going to ruin your life. This is what we need to do. And he's almost I don't want to say an antagonist, but he's the opposite of the wizard Shazam. Or just, if we're calling him now, the wizard.
Yeah.
Of this, that, and Pete's going to hate this because of Star Wars, right? But it's that episode of Clone Wars where they go into the Force users. And, you have the dark and the light, and they're both struggling,
Yeah, the Mortis arc, I believe it was called. Yeah.
And you have the father who's the balance.
Yeah, and you have the son and the daughter who were light and dark, and the world would tear itself apart without either of them.
Right. And that's why I feel here is like, now we have on the light side, let's say the order side, we have Shazam and Naboo who are at odds, and then on the chaos side we have Mordru and whoever else will rise. You know, let's say it's Zatanna, right, or it's Zatara for the chaos, and they're at odds, and them being at odds is keeping everything in balance, which is keeping the other kind, right, at bay. And now Naboo completely upset the balance by trying to reestablish the order, and now the other kind have broken through.
Yeah. I just want to mention as well, I was flicking through. I made a slight mistake. This second section is actually the same colorist, Gianna Lucas.
Okay.
Jonan Balron was the inker on this second part.
Gotcha. But it was, it's really, I'm loving this book. And I'm not a Magic guy, right? Like, I like to say this, but this is one of the books I look forward to every month now.
Yeah.
Bridging Hour was kind of rough, but I feel like that was getting stuff out of the way to tell the story now.
Yeah, definitely. We should mention there was a very brief third section, 2 pages at the end of the
formula.
Offer. Yeah. It's fine. The only interesting thing that comes out of it is Lex is kind of he's turned to Cersei and he says, "Oh yeah, Magic had its own Justice League, isn't it time it had its own Legion of Doom? So we're going to have like the anti Justice League Dark, you know, to rival them." Which does
I'm not mad at.
Yeah,
I'm not mad at that, but yeah, it definitely felt tacked on. It was 2 pages, one of this little ship coming in, and then one of her holding what looks like a lightning bolt type deal.
Yeah, no, absolutely tacked on. But as we've been trying to say, we're not going to hold it against it too much because most of them just feel like this, and the rest of the issue is absolutely fantastic.
Yep.
So I guess rating.
Yeah. Yep. I'm going to go 8.5.
I'm going to push it up to a 9 because of the art.
Yeah, that's really good. Oh, Pete.
Excellent. I was just having some snacks while you were
unprofessional
talking about things. I muted it for the recording. Didn't hear a thing.
I was like, he must have muted it because I didn't hear him.
He did. I saw it.
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't mute it for you. You still hear me over Skype.
No, but I could see the muted button.
Yeah. Just in case I get a bit of crunch or something. Don't want to be unprofessional and have awful eating noises in the mic.
Oh.
I'm considerate like that. That'll take us on to the Terrifics issue 18. Jean Luen Yang writing with Steven Segovia on the art. The Noosphere is still trying to take over the world, basically. And the Terrifics are trying to deal with the fact that Plastic Man has deflated and lost lots of little parts of his body into little mini Plastic Men. And
which are revealed to be his what, Pete?
Oh, his demons, or his
sins.
His sins.
And I count them,
right.
and there's 7, and I'm disappointed for not figuring this out sooner. I love Yang as a writer so much. Like, I will say, if DC has someone that's like the most underrated MVP, it is Yang. So, anyways.
Glowing praise. I mean, I actually didn't love this issue. I mean, I didn't dislike it, but it was...
No.
I think this arc has been kind of just like, it's kind of fun. It's not like setting the world on fire.
No, but it's... Again, if we thought it was just Lemire doing the Fantastic Four, I feel like there's just an editorial edict. Because this was Galactus, down to how they defeat him, right? Is, the Noosphere gets Stag, right? And they go in there to get him, which the way that they get into the Noosphere is they have Mr. Terrific step into Metamorpho, like a suit of armor.
Yes.
Right? Yes. And then they launch themselves at the Noosphere. The Noosphere stops Metamorpho, but Mr. Terrific gets to enter. And he sees Simon Stagg there, and he's so, at peace. And, they finally give the Noosphere a terrific sphere, the T-Sphere, and basically let him make his own planet, because we found out that he's been going across the multiverse, assimilating things and trying to bring, peace and whatnot. And the Terrifics kind of, they weigh their what was it? They weigh their options, I guess, and it just makes more sense to give him what he wants to leave them alone. And it's kind of how the Fantastic Four always defeat Galactus. It's like, well, no, you don't want to eat us. We're not good. You can let's go find another unsuspecting planet. So, I appreciated that, but
yeah, obviously
oh,
it causes some friction with Mr. and Mrs. Terrific, because he just makes this choice on his own, and she's like, no, we promised the biosphere that we'd stop the noosphere, and he's like, no, you promised, not we, and she's like, oh yeah, forgive me for assuming that we were a thing, and it kind of leaves it in a cold place, and then the offer at the end for You're the Villain, for some reasons Bizarro, I guess. Pick a villain.
Well, and they're not any Bizarro. It's Bizarro of Earth 29.
Yeah.
Which is the Bizarro Earth, which I feel like now Lex is going across multiverses to recruit people. Like, I don't know. It's Yang, so I'm fine with however this is going to play out.
Yeah, presumably has Bizarro. I think I remember some Solicits actually that Bizarro is going to be involved in the next story. So, I mean, that's fine. It felt like. Does this really jive with what Lex is doing? I don't know. Like,
I don't think so, because if you try to explain Doom to Bizarro, he's gonna think it's justice, right?
To be fair, Lex does speak in Bizarro speak to
he does,
sell him
and
on
I love how, as smart as Apex Lex is, he still can't quite get Bizarro speak, which I kind of like. Like, it's that illogical. So, but no, she's fine. A lot of fun stuff. Like, I did like Plastic Man, and when he realizes his sins, he has to own them. He can't just let them go, because that's his little subplot here is he just wants to let them go, and he's gonna wither and die because now he's holy, and it's a fun little play on words because he has like holes like Swiss cheese.
Yeah, because he keeps saying he doesn't care, he doesn't want them back. He's like, no, just let me die. It's fine.
And then they start, his son decides to take it up, and he realizes, like, well, no, these have what made him him, and like he's not going to let his sins, attack his son. He needs to own it up, and so I like that. I like that it's come through, but I'm glad the Noosphere stuff's over. I'm excited to get to Bizarro.
Yeah,
and see what Yang does.
I think my problem with the Noosphere stuff is, now that we've gotten to the end of it, and what I was feeling in a lot of this issue, is that a lot of the locations are just random backgrounds that mean nothing, and there's no sense of like geography or where we are or whatever. It's just kind of like we're in this like virtual world or whatever, and I don't know, just a lack of like sort of solid foundation to grab onto in terms of what the geography is, and it was maybe a bit tiring after a few issues of it. So that'd probably be where my complaint lies. And not a bad issue though. It's just kind of. It's fine. It has a couple of good moments. Characters are still delightful as per usual. That's pretty much it. What are you giving it, Matt?
I'm gonna give it a 7. Like, it's fine. There's nothing to hate, nothing to glow about.
Yeah. I'll probably go with a 6. I think it's one of the weaker issues of the Terrifics, and has a couple of nice moments, but nothing to write home about. So. That is Terrifics. That'll take us on to Dial H for Hero issue 5. Sam Humphries writing with Joe Quinones on the art. And Miguel's in the Heroverse. He very quickly runs into the Operator while he's running away from what's his face? The villain.
Mr. Thunderbolt.
Thank you. And it's essentially this weird kind of love letter to DC history, where as they're jumping through room to room trying to escape Mr. Thunderbolt, we're seeing essentially origin stories playing out behind them. We're seeing panels of Silver Age Green Lantern. We're seeing panels of I think it starts with he's on Crime Alley and the Waynes are lying there dead. But Miguel doesn't know who any of these people are, of course, because they're all secret identities, right?
I want to say the Crime Alley stuff. It looks like Batman Year One. It looks like that style. And then in the back you see the Wonder Woman stuff, the Green Lantern, Supergirl. It looks all the Silver Age stuff, like with all the dots on the printing and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it gets into this weird bit of mythology where like the H style kind of like lets you have your secret origin almost, and taps into the powers of the Heroverse. But there's a lot of time spent defining what a secret origin is, and then Miguel kind of starts looking at his past, trying to think if he's had one and what it is, and very clearly states that it's the moment that you choose to do something about what you are, who you are. It's not about the moment you get powers. It's not about the moment that you get a costume.
A tragedy.
Yeah. It's not that. It's not the motivation. It's when you choose to be the hero or the villain.
Yeah, and the Operator's like, they kind of go into his origin as well at one point.
Yeah.
And it starts saying, so where's your secret origin? What was your moment? Was it when your parents died? Was it when you first rang the hero dial? What was it? And it kind of comes to the conclusion that he hasn't got it yet. That's why he's been getting all the kind of the jokey characters,
which does actually lead to probably the best scene in the issue, where we find out it was after his parents died in a plane crash. He yelled for Superman, and Superman did appear. And he gets angry at Superman and throws his bike at him.
And it just crumples. The wheel literally crumples against Superman's arm.
And Superman has to hug him and explain that he can't be everywhere, and that's why he didn't save his parents. He can't stop every plane that's going down.
And he was like, no, even that wasn't his, my secret origin moment either.
It wasn't, but I think this scene's maybe the most effective in the issue of just being.
Oh, it's so good. Emotional,
yeah. Meanwhile, Summer steals a supermobile. That's what it was. From Snapper Car, because she's flying to Metropolis to try and get Superman.
As she points out, it's not stealing if he's the guardian of it and he lets her take it.
She steals it. And she gets lost in Gotham for a little bit, and Two-Face is shooting up at her. I got the impression this was actually kind of lining up with City of Bane in a weird way, because Two-Face's dialogue kind of implied that the city had changed a little bit to me here. This is like before the end of last issue of Batman, where Two-Face gets taken in. That was like, it was a very subtle thing. It was just kind of like lining up with the status quo in Batman.
I don't know. Nothing about the dialogue said that to me. What was it to you that made you think that?
I can't remember. Something about the heroes are not allowed in the city or something like that. I can't remember. Because obviously Bane is taking them all away.
Sure, I don't remember him saying that, but okay, fair enough.
But she gets to Metropolis at the end of the issue. However, Thunderbolt from Heroverse causes some chaos, because the ending of the issue is every single person with a phone in Metropolis essentially is told to dial H for Hero on their phone. And the final page is all these bolts of lightning in the city, implying that hundreds, if not thousands, of people have just become superheroes with powers. So that was a cliffhanger.
That's rad.
Again, we should mention that there's a lot of shifting styles in this. You have the Batman stuff at the start. You got the Silver Age panels. There's a bit where we're going through Robbie Reed stuff where he talks about his adventures, and there is a panel that looks like it's just Darwin Cook's New Frontier stuff.
Yeah.
It looks absolutely gorgeous, but it's just going through these styles absolutely effortlessly. His Gotham in the Supermobile looks straight out of the animated series.
It does, yeah. The nighttime sky specifically looks like the.
It looks like the opening titles of the animated series, doesn't it?
Yeah. So now again, it's just playing with all these different styles. This one's a little bit different from the previous ones, because this is not just the origins of the heroes that came out the phone. This is
this is kind of much more real world now.
Yeah. So it's kind of neat. I don't know exactly how the Heroverse fits into the mythology of all the other different mystical forces and sciences we have in the DC universe, but
I think the idea I got is the Heroverse is kind of just so everyone who ever makes that choice to be a hero is connected to the Heroverse, is what he says, right?
Yeah, it seems like it's tied into the realm of imagination.
Yeah, kind of. So it is kind of this everyone who is a hero is connected to that in the sense of, they become larger than life. So this just mythologicalizes them and kind of stores that.
Hey, I'm having a good time, so I'm not going to complain about it. But there is a point where the DC universe has too many things.
No, there's not. Or if there is, we're not there yet.
Oh, of course there is. We got Speed Force and all the other forces. We got all the different Lantern Corps. We got what else we got? We got the Red, the Green, and the Rot. We got those. We got
the
Metaverse. We got Source Wall. Of course, we have the multiverse in general, all different universes.
Dark Multiverse.
Yeah, there's a
Which
point.
Is the Dark Multiverse is just the bringing up of infinite.
Yeah.
Multiverse, but without having to make them infinite because they're constantly being destroyed.
Yes, it's
right?
clever, isn't it?
Yeah. So you eat your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
clever.
Out of everything you've just listed there, the only thing I feel like I don't like is all the extra Speed Force ones. You know,
you sound like you're complaining, Pete, and I think that it's fine.
I'm just saying. At some point, we're stacking on too many. And then we got Gem World and all that stuff.
Time and like
all the magical places, all that shit. Yeah. Calm down.
What book was it that was talking about the bleed? One of the books this week was talking. Maybe it was this.
Well, the bleed was also in between the multiverse.
Yeah, it might have been this book. Yeah, it was. It was in the part of Operator's origin stuff. And talking through his adventures that he'd had, and it talked about how he'd been to all these multiple realities and seen different versions of the heroes, and they helped him go beyond the connective tissue of the multiverse into the bleed, and he went all the way until he was stopped by the Speed Force wall, and it was impenetrable.
Oh, fifth dimension, sixth dimension, which is not the same as the multiverse. That's a different thing.
Yeah,
right, and it's the realm of imagination, and then you add into the metaverse stuff, which is our Earth, but anything we think of pops into existence. So
too much.
All these things.
It's too much.
I like it.
The reason I love them all is because none of them are actually contradictory.
No,
they kind of all sit in a nice, like they're like the rot and the green and the red are all on one level, but something like and the Heroverse also connect. So Animal Man is connected to both the red and the Heroverse, and that's fine. But then amongst that, he's also part of a multiverse and a metaverse. And there are all these layers. They sit up amongst each other. It's like Russian dolls. They all kind of fit inside each other neatly.
I'm not saying I like or dislike this particular thing more or less than any of the others. I probably like it more than some of the others actually.
Sounds like you are, Pete.
I'm not. I'm saying
there's too many and they gotta go. So what has to go?
What has to go? I don't know. I'd have to sit down and think about it.
No, I know it has to go. It's the new Speed Force bullshit. Bye. See you later.
That is the first thing to go.
Yeah.
Sure.
See you never.
Sure. I don't know. I was thinking about it as I was reading. I was like, oh my god, how many goddamn different forces and like things can we connect to, that exist? I don't know. That's the thing. The Speed Force in a lot of ways is one of the most stupid ones, but it's so ingrained into DC continuity at this point for a long time that you just kind of accept it.
Well, and that's a Mark Waid thing too. You leave that alone, right? He gave the character to the Speed Force, so.
Hey, I love the Speed Force. I ain't dissing the Speed Force. I'm just, there's a point where there's just so many of these goddamn things. There's so many different fabrics of existence that all kind of work together. Like, come on.
That's why I love it though, because they all do work together. None of them if they were really contradictory things, it would be annoying. But the fact that they all just sit comfortably next to each other, works so well for me.
Yeah, okay, we give it.
I'm giving it a 9. I love this issue. It's fantastic.
I'll give it an 8. It was really good. There you go, beautiful. Which takes us to the final book of the week, which is Batman: Curse of the White Knight, issue 1. Sean Murphy on art and writing.
Everything. Yeah, buddy.
So yeah, so vampires are going to be a factor in this plot.
Because I finished reading this and I had to tell Tim immediately. It's like, Tim, Murphy's doing Castlevania just with for the Bat family.
Guys, we're getting American Vampire shit in Batman. All right.
He's got a whip. He's got the Castlevania
He's got a
whip
made out of bat leather.
Bat leather.
This is so
oh my god. This is exactly my shit.
When this opened with Lord Wayne fighting against some old Arkham vampire, I'm like, what? This is delightful.
Okay, so if it would have opened and he would have been Simon Wayne, we would have had to buy an issue for Tim, right?
Yeah.
So the reason I love American Vampire so much is for what it did with the history, with real life history plus vampires.
Sure.
And now we all know I love the history of Gotham, and that's some of my favorite stuff in Batman. now we're adding vampires to the history of Gotham and the struggle between the Waynes and Arkham and all of this stuff, and you're interjecting the stuff that had happened in White Knight to this now. I can't. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
And now you're getting the Order of St. Dumas, and how does that factor in here?
The grizzled old John Paul Valley just being psychotic.
Yeah, also he has cancer. He's dying.
Yep. And I love how he's like, oh, he quit smoking. And they're like, yeah, well, maybe you shouldn't have, because it's coming for you anyways.
They're like, well, you served in the military. Yeah. Any exposure to some tactical level chemicals? Can't know about that.
No. And also, like, you looked at Azrael was his nickname in the military for whatever reason. You know, and he gets this prognosis and he goes back to the church and he's helping, and the priest is like, you don't have to do this, Jean-Paul. He's like, no, but it makes me feel better. And so you right there, you get a better read on Jean-Paul than I've had in decades. You know, like he's not this, you know, dyed-in-the-wool religious fanatic. You know, he's someone that wants to make his community better. And who comes to mess all that up? The goddamn Joker. Yeah.
Joker throwing him the sword.
Yeah.
And being the voice of God, essentially.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
Which that's you don't want. Yeah, right? You don't want Joker as the voice of God. So this starts in Gotham in the 1600s, and I had to read a couple times because you got Lord Wayne running a sword through an Arkham, and I was like, does he got fangs and claws? Holy shit, that's a legit vampire.
At first I was like, is this a vampire? And I was like,
yeah,
maybe Murphy's just playing up some evil characteristics just to kind of, but no, it's a vampire, sure as shit.
And so you find out that this Wayne, I forget his name, we'll call him Lord Wayne. He was the first Wayne in Gotham, and he had something to do with Arkham. He comes and slays him. I hope that Bruce now in I'm going to call this the Murphyverse. In the Murphyverse, comes from a long line of vampire hunters, so it's completely ironic that he becomes the Bat, right?
Yeah.
And you find out that Arkham, like, this manor had stood in Gotham, when what would become Gotham in this valley, for decades. Then it became a fort, and then after the fort, it became Arkham Asylum, and that where this Arkham fell became a well that was then boarded up, and so Joker comes back to Arkham, not wanting to be called Napier. Like, he's like, that was a completely different person.
That wasn't me. He undermined all the terrible things I've done.
Right, and I hate that. And he gets, so where it left off at is this Batman fund is actually going to where it should be, and that there might be a little bit truth to what Napier was saying about, even though he was manipulating a lot of stuff.
But the idea that the people at Arkham were letting villains go to cause chaos, so they could buy up all the property cheap.
Right, and that Arkham, they had to ship everybody out, and because it's actually under renovations, to make it an actual mental hospital,
Yeah, a psychiatric facility rather than a dilapidated castle.
And so I guess he's the warden, whoever he is. Joker, is like, hey, I'm not here to do anything bad. I just need you to let me into my old cell. And he's like, wait, Joker, you spent all your time trying to get out. Now you're trying to get in? And he's like, no, I have my reasons. So he takes him to a cell, and you find out this cell is where Joker considers himself born. And that there's something there. And the warden lets him in. And he's like, well, we can't have this go perfectly clean. So come here, buddy. Yeah. And the warden survives, much to his detriment, because that's how Batman is able to piece this together.
But even immediately, he's like, hey, try not to get too much blood elsewhere. I don't want Batman poking around in my cell. Like, he knows there's something there for him to find. Like, this birth of Joker is something literal.
Mm-hmm. And you have Gordon talking about Batman. He's like, hey, look, I know you're reeling from the death of Alfred, but you can't be doing this anymore. We got, I'll let you have this one because it's Joker, and we kind of need your help. But like you really kind of have to give it up or join the task force, And even Dick pressures Bruce into that, and he's like, "You kind of, have served your purpose, Bruce. Yeah. Gotham's changing."
I think there's a point there where he shows his worth still. Gordon's like, "Hey, can you get out of this guy before the lawyers come?" Yep. And he just goes, he screams at him, and he's terrifying because this version of Batman is scary as shit.
Right. And so Alfred, in his note to Bruce, leaves him. He goes, "Hey, I know this is gonna be hard for you because you push everybody away, but I would never leave you. And I know this is gonna be a tough time for you. Yeah. Go under my floorboard. There's something that you need to see." Yeah. He goes to this floorboard, and there's this
box, little chest.
Yeah, like a chest. And we don't really get to see what's in it. But we know that it has some kind of value to Alfred, and it's been in the Wayne family for centuries. And then we get the stuff with Azrael that we were talking about earlier. And, he's got cancer. But we find out what Joker pulled from the cell is the sword. And it looks like it was the same sword that was ran through the Arkham vampire.
I assume so, yeah. I assume it's been sat there the whole time.
And as Joker, and it's this glorious scene where Joker, as the voice of God, goes to Jean-Paul, and the oil's dripping over this brazier. Is that what it's called? Yeah. I'm not a fan of it. Yeah. It catches the sword on fire, and he plugs it out, and it's a flaming sword. And that basically Joker tells him that he needs to serve Gotham and correct these sins of the past. And there's been one family that has cursed Gotham from the beginning, and it's Bruce Wayne, and that now he must be smited. But yeah, oh man, I love this book. If you guys can't tell, the art, like
there's a couple of beats that really land is the note from Alfred, where he's like, "Oh, by the time you're reading this, if you're reading this, you've already come back around. You've got the family there with you. Dick and Barbara are at your side, and he's just completely alone, and it's kind of sad.
No one there. Yep, and that's where the bat signal comes, and Gordon needs to talk to him, and stuff. So it's like Bruce coming to terms with like this mission has cost him his relationships, and like now even as close as he was with Gordon, it's now kind of just a work relationship. And that's it.
Yeah, and Bruce doesn't want to believe in the vampire story because he's showing Babs that, oh, hey, in the chest I got the diary, I got the whip, and Babs is like, wait, that dude's a vampire, and Bruce is like, just story, come on, and Babs is like, vampire.
Well, and that's another thing I skipped over until I just pulled it back up. There was a rhyme about the what's his name? It's Arkham.
Laffy, something like that.
Lafayette Arkham. And that they used to say it every, Commissioner Gordon would tell it to Barbara every Halloween to scare the shit out of them as kids. But there's like, it's just an urban legend. Like, it's not true. So, again, I like that layer of that.
Yeah, but we know it's true, and Batman's going to have to be a vampire hunter.
Yep. And so this was the children's poem that where's it at? Laffy Arkham, the vampire from the old children's poem. Every kid in Gotham knew it. Laffy Arkham in the wood, eating the children when he could, underneath a moon of blood, swept away before the flood. And when you jump back to the past stuff, it talks about there's something dark in that forest that turned Arkham there, and that it's gonna overrun Gotham. And Lord Wayne's like, not on my watch.
Yeah.
So again, I was getting shades, and I thought it was just the Murphy stuff at first, right? Like, oh no, he's overplaying the evilness there, and it looks like Lord Wayne's got someone from the Order with him, right? Like,
he's in the road. He's got the sign,
right? And so we were talking about like vampire hunters, and like I didn't even make the Castlevania thing until you told Tim, and I was like, oh shit, a whip.
As soon as I saw the whip, I was like, holy shit, they're just doing Castlevania.
Yep. So I'm hoping Dracula shows up because Dracula versus Batman is money. I was already into this beforehand because of Murphy. I didn't enjoy White Knight that much. But now you get into the history of Gotham, you're getting vampires, you're getting, Bruce doubting himself, which I'm always a fan of. So I hate when Batman always,
there'll be a lot of Bruce trying to prove that it's just mortal men the whole time, but no, there actually is vampires and shit going on.
And you got Joker playing the sides against themselves, that whatever this evil is, which is this is where I think the story's going. Whatever the evil is was speaking to Joker in the cell, right? And that this evil knows that Wayne and the Order have to basically fight each other so they don't pay attention to the darkness. And this darkness is what's going to overrun
and it's
Gotham.
got a vendetta against the Waynes, so...
Right. So,
yeah.
for ending it back in the 1600s. But yeah, you took the best stuff of American Vampire, the stuff I love about Batman. It's made a perfect diagram here. I thought the first one would be hard to top, but so far, one issue in, I'm way more excited than I was at the end of the first.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to go this route, but
me neither. Because we talked about Curse, and I just thought this is gonna be another Batman story of him having to deal with Gotham and what that means.
It's the curse that he is stuck with the burden of defending Gotham.
And it's like, oh no, he's the Waynes messed. No, I won't say messed up. The Waynes created the situation that the Waynes must always protect Gotham. And now, by him embracing the Bat, this is how he's protecting Gotham. Because you even had Thomas was a doctor, right? And throughout the time, we play with that. That even Morrison did it in The Return of Bruce Wayne. So yeah. So between the Jimmy Olsen stuff from that first issue, the history of Metropolis, to now we're going here with the history. I'm a mark for this kind of stuff.
I never would have guessed.
No, never, right? So, and Pete silenced me.
I feel like Pete didn't enjoy this as much as we did.
Honestly, Matt just started going and just took over describing the plot, and I was waiting for him to take a breath at some point, and he just never did. So I've been sitting here silently for about maybe close to 10 minutes at this point.
Sorry.
Just waiting for my opening. Because you two are so goddamn enthusiastic that there was just no point. I actually quite liked this issue. This is way better than the last one, because it's not doing this stupid Joker plot that I hated. So it's fine. There's just some random vampire thing. I'm okay with this.
Yeah, when I first got this, I was like, Pete has to read this. I'm going to do what I can to make him read the first issue. So I'm glad Connor did, because in our chat, he's like, I got to read White Knight, but if we have to start early, I'm not going to be mad.
But I genuinely still had 3 books, and 2 of them were the 75, so they were the best.
I was struggling through the Flash 75 when I said that. I was not in a good mood for reading more
I still had that to come, so I was like, you get it.
Pete, it's got vampires. Yeah, but I didn't want to ruin that, because I wanted people to go into this not knowing, like I did, right?
Oh,
I didn't expect a vampire plot. So, I feel like Tim would definitely want to read it more if he knew there was vampires.
Yeah, which is why I told him. Because I was like, Tim, you clearly don't know this. So, you need to know this.
Honestly, my only critique of the whole issue is the note that Alfred leaves Batman. I didn't read because the font was horrible and I wanted no part of it.
I'll give you that was a horrible font. I struggled. There was a few times where I was reading a line. I was like, I don't know what that says. And I was like making a guess. And then reading the rest of the sentence and going, okay, that's what that must have said.
Is it just because us millennials can't read cursive? Is that what this is?
No, because I can. I mean, it's what.
It's because cursive.
I can't.
Cursive is a horrible thing that for some reason in school they insisted is something you had to learn, and I have never used it or needed it once since I left. Not even school in general. I don't think I've used it since early school.
Yeah.
I still write in cursive. I mean.
The only time I need it...
I don't. I write in block capitals all the time.
Yeah, no. The only time I need it is when I have to sign something. And at this point, my signature is just wavy lines.
Yeah.
You can make out the M, and you can make out the S. The rest of it is...
Block capital is too slow.
Yeah.
Because cursive, it's just the benefit because it's so fast to write.
Right.
Because it's one fluid.
I can barely read my own cursive handwriting, never mind other people's cursive handwriting.
I'm terrible writing.
When I was moving, I came across some boxes of stuff that I kept from schoolwork, and my early cursive stuff where you had to write reports in cursive, I can't read. and I have horrible penmanship, so you add pen.
I have terrible
cursive.
penmanship. I struggle to read my own block capitals sometimes. So but I mean, when would you start?
It's funny.
It must have been about 7 or 8 when you start learning to write in cursive in our schools. So I think it was just that through till we finished school at 16. A decade of that became just habit that I just never stopped.
Well, it's funny that this gets brought up. Like my supervisor brings this up a lot about how kids can't write in cursive. It's like, yeah, you can't use your computer sometimes. Like, all right.
Computers are better. Typing things and printing them out is just better.
No, they are, but sometimes you have to write. At least in my job, sometimes I have to use a pen and paper and write things.
Yeah.
Oh, so I mean, when I write things, didn't know. I just always do block capitals, and it basically as soon as I didn't have to write in cursive anymore because no one was forcing me, I just stopped doing it. I hated it.
I never had a problem with it. It wasn't like it's not something that I even think about doing. I just write, and that's just how it comes out.
I don't think it's hard to do. It's not about the. It's not like I think there's a challenge in writing cursive. And
it's funny. It used to be more practical, and it's not practical anymore. Like we communicate via phone and text and whatnot now more than we do letters.
It's practical for traditionally speed and space. It takes up less space than block capitals, and it's just quicker to write, which is why I still do it, because I can write out 10 words in cursive in the time it would typically do maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, I've been written in cursive in at least 15 years.
Y'all seen Billy Madison, right? When he can't write in cursive, and he, it's older Adam Sandler in the 3rd grade class, and he gets mad and tells the teacher, "You'll never have to use this," right, to the kids, and she makes him go up there and write, so he can't do the Z, and she makes him write a baseball player's name that is almost nothing but Z's. You don't know that? You don't know that scene?
I mean, I've seen the movie, but I've not seen it in like 20 years.
In a long time.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just always think of having to write a cursive Z. It's the same thing. It just comes out as looks like I had a seizure mid writing.
Oh dear.
But yeah, White Knight.
No, I mean
Curse of the White Knight, I should say.
Curse of the White Knight. I think I'm going to end up liking this one more than the first one, just because it's not the Joker plot that I had problems with.
Yeah.
Obviously Murphy's art's lending well to all this Castlevania stuff. Babs and Dick's inclusion I enjoyed again. Batman wanting to just reveal who he is to everyone, because Gordon knows who he is now. And
that's the other thing I missed.
Yeah. He's like, and Babs is like, no, you can't do that. Like, that's just, just join the team. Like, that's, don't do it. So, no, like, I'm fairly positive on it. I'm not gushing about it, like certain people on this podcast may be. But
this is proof for all people that say that I just hate Batman because he's more popular than Superman. That's not true. There are elements of Batman I do enjoy. And this has them all in one go. So
there's elements of Batman I enjoy. When does he fight vampires? I'm into it.
I mean, really, any character can fight vampires, and I'm into it. But I'm talking like the history of Gotham. Doubting Bruce.
No, I love all that. That's why that Gates of Gotham mini.
So good.
I love that. That's so underrated.
Good. I gotta reread that. It's been a while.
It got a deluxe edition like a year or two ago.
Did it?
Yeah,
I bought mine from Higgins, and he was just glowing that more people need to read this. He worked so hard on it, and it's
so underrated.
Yeah, it was one of those ones, and he told me this, and I don't know if but at the time he was like, I basically, it was my idea, but because I was who I was, they had to put Snyder's name on it to sell it.
I believe that.
Yeah, and so he'll be the thread, because we brought him up earlier. We can give him Nightwing. Just bring him back to Gotham, please. We're halfway there with the Nightfall.
I would happily read another book just set in old Gotham.
Yep.
Oh, it'd be so good.
Gotham Harbor. It's all dingy. People get shanghaied all the time from Gotham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what are you rating them at?
9.5.
Gee, okay.
I'm out the gate.
Yeah, I'm going a 9.5 as well.
Yeah.
8 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I literally couldn't get a word in. I went quiet for like 10 minutes because you two assholes just kept gushing.
Well, you should have joined us in the gushing.
No, I didn't have the energy to fight for room to speak. I'll just wait.
To be fair, that's how I feel a lot of the time. You know, when you guys really like a book, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna wait. Just gonna wait until you're done gushing, and then I'll say what I didn't like. And obviously, this wasn't quite as much what you didn't like. You just didn't like it as much, but it's the same feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, you do it more often though.
You just don't want to interrupt the flow. It's rude.
I'll interrupt it. I'm a human speed bump. What are you talking about? I don't even care.
Literally, if Matt lies down the road, he will literally be a human speed bump.
Don't do that.
All right, that was the last book of the week, which takes us on to the part of the show where we pick our favorite stuff of the week. We do our favorite panels / moment. We do our favorite cover, favorite art, and top 5 books of the week. So, what is your panel / moment, Matt?
It's gonna be the opening of Curse of the White Knight when you see it's a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I might have yelled "Holy shit" at work at 5 a.m. People had no idea on Thursday. So yeah.
Okay. Connor?
I'm actually going to go from Justice League Dark. I'm going to go with the Constantine origin just for the sheer
It's a good one.
accuracy, especially that first panel.
I'm going with Dial H for Hero. I'm going where Miguel confronts Superman after his parents' funeral. Why I didn't save them. That was really good. Favorite cover, Matt?
It basically came down to Curse of the White Knight, the variant with Azrael and his flaming sword, or Wonder Woman.
The variant with Cheetah.
Well, not even the variant, just the Dodsons.
Oh, yeah, the regular. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give it to White Knight. It's pretty cool. Flaming swords are dope.
Yeah.
Hard to argue with that.
Yeah. I'm actually going with the main Batgirl cover. I kind of like the just kind of the fun popping, the shadow of the moth over top of her, and she's all webbed to the wall.
That's good.
I'm getting into it. All right. Best art, Matt.
Do I have to say it?
Yes, you have to go through the motions and say it.
It's Sean Murphy for White Knight.
Wait, hang on! I didn't pick my cover, you dick.
Oh, did you not?
No.
What's your cover?
Dick bag. I'm actually gonna go with the Azrael cover as well.
Yeah,
all right, okay.
That's why he didn't.
That's not the point.
Excellent news. Okay, what's your art pick, Connor?
Yeah, it's Murphy. I think this might be the first time that Dale H has come out that I haven't picked that.
If you had chosen the 1-2 punch of Justice League Dark, I would have understood that.
No, I think all 3 of those books are fantastic art this week. On any week could have won.
And I could have made a push for Action Comics too. Kudranski was pretty good too, but it's Murphy, so
yeah.
Batgirl's art was really good too, but I'm also going to go with Murphy.
It's just hard to argue with it, isn't it?
All right, top 5 books of the week, Matt. What you got?
Number 1, Curse of the White Knight. Number 2 is what did I put at number 2? Is it? Yeah, I'll say Batgirl. Number 3 is Action Comics. Number 4 is Wonder Woman. Oh no, I messed up my order. 1 is Curse of the White Knight. 2 is Justice League Dark. 3 is Action Comics. 4 is Wonder Woman, and 5 is Batgirl. Nailed it.
Okay, Connor.
Yeah. No, number 1 is Curse of the White Knight.
Mm-hmm.
2 is Justice League Dark. 3 is Dial H for Hero. 4 Batgirl and 5 Wonder Woman.
Okay, my number 1 is Batgirl. My number 2 is Curse of the White Knight. My number 3 is Action Comics. Number 4 is Wonder Woman. And number 5. Oh wait, no.
Am I the only one who can get through 5 books this week?
Number 4 is Dial H. Number 5 is.
Yeah, I don't write mine out before, Connor. I wing it, so.
Yeah, I wing it too. So anyway, Batgirl, Curse of the White Knight, Action Comics, Dial H for Hero, and what have I got left? Did I say Wonder Woman? I thought I said Wonder Woman. Did I?
Yeah. Batgirl, Curse the White Knight, Dial H.
Batgirl.
That's
Batgirl.
Batgirl.
Curse of the White Knight.
It's 2.
Right. Action Comics.
3.
Dial H. Wonder Woman. Yeah, okay, fine. I got confused. I got confused if I said Wonder Woman already or not.
Oh man.
Solid 5.
You know what?
Solid 5.
We're gonna get a whip versus flaming sword fight, and I'm gonna be beside myself.
It's gonna be so good. That will get moment of the week, unless it comes out alongside Doomsday Clock.
Oh sure, yes. Doomsday Clock will trump all.
What is Doomsday Clock?
Also, because obviously every week we ask people on the Twitters what they think of the books, and we.
But not every week Pete remembers to read them out.
Yeah, very good. So, Talker Superbad said Dial H may be the best book of the year. Quinones shows his art versatility in a new way. Humphries writes a love letter to the DCU, especially Superman. Only downside is the Supermobile didn't punch anything. At Glenn Reed's Comic says Flash. Why? Because I only picked up 2 DC books this week, and I sure as hell wasn't going to give it to Action Comics. So, don't know what that opinion, what the reasons for that is necessarily, but clearly not a. Well, he's still buying Action, so he must not hate Bendis. Presumably, he'd just not be buying it if he hates Bendis. So I don't know. And then at Booster Green, Wonder Woman big moments like Hippolyta stand out for me. Glad we also didn't forget about Isadora. So yeah. So there's a few opinions from the Twitters. In fact, speaking of you guys sending us stuff, what we do have to talk about for next week, because next week is a week 5, and next week, for me personally, is a very light week because I'm not reading any books next week.
I mean, you can read the anthology Batman thing if you really want to.
If I wanted to, I don't know if I'm feeling overly.
I have 3 books.
Yeah. It just so happens that the books that are coming out are the final to. Well, I'll tell you what's coming next week because I always do that, don't I?
You do, yeah.
I may have forgotten that was a thing at the end of the show and didn't have my browser open.
Well, then, how did you know all the variant covers for picking the best cover?
I looked earlier. It's fine.
It's bullshit.
It's
Man,
fine.
covers are gonna be rough.
Well, I can't even
Next
do a top
week.
5 next week. I can't pick anything next week.
No one can do a top 5 next week.
I'm not reading that next week. So, yeah, next week's a week 5. It's a very odd week 5 as well. It just so happens that the books that are coming out are ones that I am not reading. So, coming out next week, we have Batman Last Night on Earth issue 2. That's the Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo Batman book, which I'm not reading. There's Batman Secret Files issue 2, which is an anthology book. We have Batman Who Laughs number 7, which I dropped a while ago. But obviously you guys have still been reading that. Green Lantern Annual issue 1, which is just Connor, because he's the only one reading Green Lantern. Justice League Dark Annual is out, which is cool, but I've not been reading Justice League Dark.
Wait, I have 4 books. Son of a bee.
And then also out, although we won't be covering, at least not for a while, Connor will get there eventually, is Red Hood Annual number 3. So, yeah, weird week. But of course, as per usual, on a quieter week, on a week 5, we will be wanting questions, and there's now 2 ways to do that. Obviously, we'll be accepting questions on Twitter at DC Comics Podcast. Do follow us on there. But you can also send longer questions, because obviously you've got a size limit on Twitter. If you want to do something a bit more in depth, you can now do that on an email. You can do that at mftvquestions@gmail.com. Just put in the subject bar that the question, the email you're sending is for Comics from the Multiverse. Just put the show title in there, and we'll know what it's for, and we will take those as well as the tweets for questions next week. And given that I don't have any books, I do want a lot of questions. So please do send in questions either on Twitter at DC Comics Podcast or via email mftvquestions@gmail.com. So please do. Patreon. Go support us on patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. As we mentioned at the start, well, not quite the start, it was like after the first news item.
Basically, as we mentioned when Pete remembered.
Exactly. We started doing Comics from Multiverse Extra at the $1 tier. Me and Connor are doing a single issue of a book each week. Right now we're doing Gotham Central. There will be more than one per week once we start Crisis on Infinite Earths in about a month's time. so that's wrapped up by the time the crossover is happening on TV. So you can get that. Also, the back catalogue of the monthlies is now available at the $1 tier as well. So do check that out. See if you want to support us, keep the show coming, keep all the content coming, as well as comics from the multiverse, but all the other stuff we do, which you can check out. We have various movie podcasts and a lot of TV reviews that come out very consistently. You get those on the YouTube channel, of course, if you're watching this there. If you're not, go to the Patreon, patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. There's a handy post at the top with links to all the various audio feeds, and you can find them on your podcast apps and all that kind of thing. I did this in a weird order tonight. Is there anything that I've not said that I usually say about plugging?
No.
Whoa, that's a new thing your mic's doing there, Matt.
I think it's the same thing it always does. It's just it had been so long sitting there.
Yeah.
And
okay.
Matt was sat quite far back from the mic that it just came through like that.
That was weird. Sounded like a horror movie. So yeah, that has been episode 165 of the show.
Or has it?
You said sound like a horror movie, Pete, and then I remember a YouTube comment you got that y'all shouldn't talk about horror movies anymore because you have no idea how to make a horror movie. Because Jason's barely in Manhattan. So that was satire, right? That guy wasn't 100% for reals, right?
I'd like to believe so. I'd like to believe so.
But if it was Tim.
Oh dear. It seems like the sort of dumb joke Tim would do under an alias. It really does.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Except Tim would never do it under an alias. He would just do it and pretend he's not on the show.
And even if he did do it under an alias, he wouldn't have been able to keep it to himself this long.
No. He would actually.
He needs the credit.
He wouldn't even need to tell us afterwards. Like he'd just put in the comment, like he'd put something about buying Goatman issue 1, and you know it was him.
Or he'd screenshot the comment and post it to us because look at this guy, isn't it fantastic?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, anyways.
Oh dear. Yeah.
You just reminded me of that when you said horror movie.
What a weird episode of the show to join us for. So we'll have episode next week, which will be a weird week 5 with lots of questions. So do feel free to send in your questions. Otherwise, that is us. That has been Comics from the Multiverse. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep reading DC Comics, but remember to never get lost in the Speed Force.
Batman vs. Vampires.